See, all I have to do is see that little stupid little time, that little clock with a question mark. I know I messed up. Welcome to the Irrational Male. Bring that down just a touch. New board, new sound, new lights, new studio, new everything, new time. No, still doing Sunday shows. This is your midweek show, live from Reno, Nevada, deep in the heart of the Nevada high desert, where there's still snow on the ground. Yeah. Well, I had to cover this. It's just got too out of hand. I thought maybe I would do a show. This is actually kind of an experimental show. I hate to even call it that, but I'm experimenting today. Just messing around with camera angles. I got a little tired of watching the Daily Wire just basically like bastardize and completely corrupt the Manosphere recently. So we'll start with a few things like this. Oops, wait a minute. I always forget that I've got to echo cancellation. There we go.
I say all the time, in today's day and age, you shouldn't be getting married until you're at least 35.
That was my next question for you. As a man, what age should you consider getting married?
So I have, this is my thing that I tell guys. Yeah. I think 35 years old, had slept with at least 50 women, 100K per year, you're in shape, and you got 6 months to 1 year of savings.
What? All right, done. I got to get married. I've done all that. That's easy.
Here's the Republic right there. So that is a recipe.
Do you think he does his eyebrows? I mean, because it doesn't seem like those are like natural eyebrows.
For a terrible marriage, by the way, guys. Waiting until you're 35 and have slept with 50 women, that is a terrible recipe for marriage by every available data point. It turns out that you are much better in terms of getting married if you get married younger, if you do not have a wide variety of sexual partners. All the stuff about, being in shape and having money and all the rest of you should try to do that, generally speaking. But this notion that you wait until you're 35, you've already made a bevy of mistakes that have shaped your character and made you much more rigid as a person, and that you should have had a basis of comparison in terms of sex of dozens and dozens and dozens of women. No, the data do not support this, and it's stupid.
Wrong.
I feel all the problems of the hookup culture and the talking culture and all the problems you're describing are because there's so much uncertainty and nobody has any idea what the hell anybody's supposed to do because there are no standards and there are no norms. We don't even know what a man is and what a woman is anymore. And we don't even see depictions of this that we can emulate. And so I think we're all complaining here. Well, I'm not about how we don't want things to be black and white. But if things were a little more black and white, if we had clarity on some of these issues, then you wouldn't be getting into
In-N-Out Burger Cup, duly noted.
To marriage, like Brian is worried, is this woman going to take my kids and half my stuff?
You should go to another country. It's much more black and white.
It is, I know.
Yeah.
Stop the cap.
Human race exists. Feminism will never be dead. There's something that we're going to have to strive and work towards to make sure that there's equality. So feminism is not dead.
In 2023, men do not have more rights than women. We are equal on every front. And contrary to popular belief, there is not some gender wage pay gap. We are all paid the same amount of money. Usually the discrepancy is just in the types of jobs achieved. Just laying the groundwork here. But this idea that we still have to fight for equality and forever we're going to have to be fighting against the patriarchy. No, we won that years ago. Your fight against the patriarchy and for equality, it is made up in your own head so that you can have something to be whining about constantly.
A TikTok storm of viral videos about women complaining about men looking at them at the gym.
Feral.
Do you need something?
This apparently is like a thing. It used to be that in order to be victimized in
I'm sorry, I'm going to laugh at this one.
American society, you actually had to be a victim.
Shut up.
Now you're a victim if you go to the gym dressed in booty shorts and a bra and men give you sideways glances. That apparently is like the height of victimhood. I agree that women are victimized if some guy puts his hands on them when they don't want to have their hands put on them, obviously. I'll agree that women are victimized if men, without regard for the woman, just stare at them or just stare for prolonged periods of time. But that's not what we're talking about here. What we are talking about is attractive women on TikTok who are seeking attention, which is why they are on TikTok, filming themselves at the gym, wearing extraordinarily tight clothing and bare midriff, and then they are surprised that men are looking at them occasionally.
I'm not a piece of meat.
Now, let's be real about this. This is how many dates in the United States and everywhere else have started.
Is the idea that men and women are identical and indiscernible for all practical purposes rather than complementary, which was the traditional understanding of sexual difference. I have to reject a couple of your premises. One, that college students work hard and study. That was never my experience. Two, that college is an unpleasant experience. I found it to be very fun. And three, that women were these ignorant, docile, uneducated creatures, unintelligent and basically worthless before feminism. I think that's so absurd. It's obviously very offensive, but it just isn't true. I think women were much better educated before feminism.
You don't teach men to protect women, you get men who will victimize women. And when you don't teach women that they ought to cherish men who are responsible and good, all you end up doing is incentivizing bad male behavior.
That's interesting because, Michael Knowles and Ben Shapiro should probably pay more attention in the staff meetings when it comes to like getting their story straight on feminism. Just saying, just throwing that out there.
The feminist movement was not wrong when they said men are acting like pigs.
Oh, really? I wonder what Michael Knowles would have to say about that.
They were wrong when they said women also ought to act like pigs and that this is a solution to our problem. Because the reverse...
So we're all going to act like pigs. Everybody.
Now what's happened is they got rid of all the traditional mores about how sex ought to be connected with love and ought to be connected with relationships. They got rid of all of that. It was just a bodily function now. Except when it comes to actual sexual assault, we treat that differently than any other bodily function, obviously.
Gotcha, bitch!
That's the problem, right? So they create the standard where sex is basically a throwaway item, sort of like eating. And then we treat sex very differently when it comes to what we all know it is, which is a deeply important and intimate part of a person's life.
Constructs coming from that, like a high-value woman is different to a high-value man. Why are women held to a different standard than men? So I'm assuming that you're talking about like someone's body count, how many people they've slept with, what clothes they wear. Why is that such a focus for women but not a focus for men at all?
It is a focus for men. That is where I have a problem with.
I'm having a hard time not liking this girl. I actually kind of do, but let's just keep. This is Brett Cooper, by the way. If you're like, who is this? That's Brett Cooper. B-R-E-T-T, like Brett Favre. Cooper.
I'm going to get ripped for this, but, the Andrew Tate stuff. And I think that he has a purpose in this world. I think that he has had, like, a lot of really great moments and, has sparked a lot of interesting conversations. But I don't like the double standard with women and men. Like, I believe that a high-value man is very similar to a high-value woman and that he has respected himself in the same way that I have. I guess I can find common ground with that. I don't want a guy that's walking around half naked and is like slept with half the city.
Oh, sure.
Dressed as like a guy wouldn't want a girl and saying that like, oh, it's only cheating if a woman does it, but not a man, Mr. Andrew Tate.
Just lay back. It'll all be over momentarily.
Very creepy if a person glances at you when you wear spray-painted ass clothes.
This creepy old guy at the gym kept coming over and staring at me, so I told my husband, and he came over and worked out next to me. Even after he came over, he continued to stare. I decided to stop working out and stare back.
Well, I'm a whore.
I attempted to do my set. Then I got fed up and went over and addressed him.
Tell these bitches to go to hell.
Okay, here she goes. She's going to go over and address this guy. Again, you saw in this video him for a grand total of like 3 seconds, maybe?
I told him if he's gonna work out in this corner, he needed to stop staring and making me uncomfortable.
You are filming yourself at the gym to do this. And this has become a way of grabbing sort of victimhood. But, okay, one, you could theoretically have separate gyms.
Yeah, a quick montage of some right-of-center media figures and podcasters sharing their criticisms.
He was just being mean.
Oh,
well, I was
Jeremy.
say, like, what he is saying is actually
Sydney.
mean. Parts of the whole.
Oh, so if you don't know who Jeremy is, he's from The Quartering. I love Jeremy, though. I know people people on the fence about Jeremy. I've always liked Jeremy. I liked Jeremy when he was playing Magic the Gathering. He was actually talking about flipping cards. And then, of course, Vampire Lord Sydney is, of course, Sydney Watson. I have to explain who these people are because nobody knows anymore.
Thing is true. Like, it's not like it's untrue.
I will absolutely say, yeah, it's mean. Yeah.
Hey, who's this guy? Come on now.
Matt Walsh is being mean.
Major divide on this video is whether or not the language was a little too harsh.
Factually, he's not wrong.
No.
factually.
Yeah. I don't look. If
These guys need to like delete their channel.
your job is to win hearts and minds, I don't think this is the best way of doing it.
You'll notice the connecting thread. They all agree that I'm right, that what I said is factually correct. So they think that it goes too far by saying it out loud. Well, see, this is where we differ. I don't think it's possible to go too far by speaking truth. The truth is the truth. It is what it is. Are we going to defend it or are we going to conceal it? Are we going to embrace it or are we going to hide from it? You can't have it both ways.
Well, you seem to be. Last one, here we go.
As a group, are working together to oppress women as a group, as a whole. Is that what the patriarchy is?
And the earth. When I say the patriarchy, I what I mean is this.
Oh, we're going to start with this one.
It's beyond men. It's this internalized system of oppression, of domination that extends far beyond gender, far beyond race. It's this energy of like hierarchy.
The energy is you telling yourself that you're a victim so that you can complain about things and feel good about yourself. That's the energy. There is the reason why you can't define it. It's just because it doesn't exist.
I think of misogyny. I think of the hatred of women and men being on top.
I can't even focus on what she's saying because of the arm movements, the power around us from within and up and down. We build it. You're distracting everybody from the fact that you're saying nothing.
We say to give a woman vote is like to let a monkey fly a plane. Very dangerous.
Very dangerous. Okay, enough of that. Well, we're going to talk about every single one of those today because why not? Welcome to the new background, and I'm experimenting with looks. I didn't mean for that to be purple. That's actually blue, but because I mixed the yellow in there, blue and yellow, what does that make, children? I didn't realize that. Yes. Guilty. Thank you. And today's going to be a Stream Deck day like you wouldn't believe. How we all doing? How y'all doing? Oh, God. I have so many irons in the fire. And I'm like, you know what? I think I need to relax and do a podcast for these people today. Oh, man. Yeah, we're gonna get into this and dig into some of this stuff today. I'm just going to jump right in because why not? I've got one super chat. If you guys want to throw in super chats, I'll take them throughout the day. This is a Thursday edition. I will not be going for 5 hours. Let me stop lying. No, I will not be going that long. I don't really even have that much material. This is, like I said, you guys got lucky today because I am just really kind of, let me see if I can, I'm adjusting images there. Look, hey, how are you? And then I also have the new monitor, which is right above the camera. So if it seems like I'm looking at you, I'm actually looking at the monitor right here. I need to kind of lower it a little bit, but then I got to move my studio, my speakers, my studio monitors out of the way too. So yeah, I've got quite the little podcast studio going today, and I'm still just figuring things out because I am a one-man show. Oh, hey. Yeah. Hey, thank you, Nairobi. Yeah, I'm trying to do you guys some midweek shows, even if they're just a little bit shorter than the Sunday. Sunday's always going to be pod classes. This is just sort of like whatever's going on that I feel like I need to talk about. One of the things that I see going on right now in the Manosphere, in particular, anyways, let's see if I can screw this over here a little bit. There we go. Much better. Still need to bump things around. I got to get the camera, like the lens depth opened up a little bit more. And then on top of that, to really throw a monkey wrench into the whole thing, StreamYard has decided that they're going to give you like custom layouts, which I was fooling around with. I haven't used yet, but I probably will in the future. So I reserve the right to change my screen drops a little bit. So let's see. Please be more direct. It's hard to follow. Yeah, well, welcome to my show, brother man. What would you like me to talk about? Let's be more direct. Okay, so here's the problem. I'm going to go straight to the point. There's a lot of guys in the Manosphere right now who got no business being here. They're not soundproof blankets, Glenn. They are actually blackout curtains. What else you got, Ben Tomlinson? You could argue the Manosphere is more popular than TradCon Media currently. Yes, it is for now. Okay, here's how I wanted to start this show. Back in, let's see, it was actually December 31st of Yes, Alpha Wolfing, you can ask a related question. I was on Rule Zero, and we were doing the end of the year show. We usually do like a end of year wrap up, and we do predictions, which is probably something we shouldn't really do, but we do predictions. And then we cover the ones that we got right and the ones we got wrong. And yes, I did get one wrong. Okay. I'm not right all the time, but I've got a pretty good track, like 99.8% of the time I'm right. And even when I'm wrong, I'm usually wrong about the timing. So I think I made a bet with John from Modern Life Dating about Kamala Harris would be the president by August, I think, of 2022. Was that or 2021? I got that wrong. However, she was, for a very brief moment, the president of the United States, the first female president of the United States, because when Biden had to go in for surgery and they knocked him out, she has to take over. So technically I was right in a roundabout way. But I usually go over the predictions that we do. And this year I made one kind of, I don't want to say bold prediction, because I don't really think it was all that bold, to be honest with you. My prediction was is that by August of this year, again, we will be firmly in the throes of the election cycle here in the United States. The election cycle here, although it is the 2024 election cycle, we will most definitely be entering into it probably about 18 months before the actual date where we're actually casting ballots and stuff like that. And remember, we here in the United States anyways, we cast ballots on the first Tuesday of November. So you have to kind of knock a full month, actually 2 full months off of that. So figure it's like 16 months. And then we cast our ballots, such as it is, as if you think those things actually make any difference anymore. I don't, but that's for another podcast and not this one. But I will say this, because I've gone through 3, well, actually technically 4, but 3 cycles where I have watched people bastardize the red pill for ideological, political, ethno-national, culture war purposes. So the most obvious one, I think, was probably back in 2016, because Trump was a big deal back then, and he was going head to head with Hillary. And if it was going to be a choice between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, I'm going to vote for Trump, simply because it's Hillary. And then I tend to sort of be as pragmatic as I possibly can when it comes to like my who I'm going to back as far as politics are concerned. But quite honestly, I'm not a big Trump fan, but I'm even less of a fan of Hillary Clinton. So I think when I say I think last year I was watching the very limited and very controlled debates between Biden and Trump, and I'm like, is this the best we can do? Get down there. Is there some other like at least this the warm up band? I mean, is there somebody that we can actually like relate with? We need 20th century candidates. I mean, in some cases, like chronologically, instead of 20th century candidates, we need people. I think it's going to be an interesting day when we get a 21st century candidate on the ballot and not a 20th century brand. And one of the things I noticed over the last really like 2012, 2016, well, really technically 2020, and then of course where we're at right now, is they tend to follow cycles, and then they follow cycles from within the manosphere, or what is now the manosphere. It didn't used to be like such a big deal back in 2012. But if you go back to 2016 and that election cycle, you want to know where people like Tim Pool came from. Where did Mike Cernovich come from? Where did Candace Owens come from? Candace Owens used to be called Red Pill Black. That's what her handle was on Twitter before she like abandoned it and just became Candace, right? And there was a time in 2016 where everyone was sort of co-opting the red pill and co-opting the manosphere, because a lot of candidates and a lot of people thought that the manosphere ought to be ideological. And you probably already know what my opinion of that is. I've written several articles and essays on my own site, and written articles, quite honestly, for Epic Times and for John Gillian and some of these other guys who like quote me a lot. The election cycle in the United States starts 18 months before we actually like cast votes. So it starts the previous year, about halfway through. And so with that in mind, I made the prediction back in on the New Year's Eve show of 2022 that you will see that the people who are not about the red pill will suddenly start pivoting to social issues. You'll see them interviewing people like, oh, I don't know, Michael Knowles. You'll see ostensibly red pill Manospherian shows interviewing people like Nick Fuentes or Kanye West or Milo Yiannopoulos. You're going to see people progressively shift and pivot over from Manospherian, for lack of a better term, red pill subjects and topics when we're talking about intersexual dynamics to more culture war stuff, social stuff. Now, here's the thing. Before you start throwing rocks at me, and I know you will, both in the chat and also probably in the comments, and most likely when I get clips out of this, people are going to go, well, what's wrong with the culture war? Well, how come it's not? Why are you so upset about the culture war? We need to fight the culture war. Save the West. Oh, be my guest. Take that and run with it. But don't call it the Manosphere. Take your culture war, take your ethno-nationalism, take your politics, take your ideology, take your religion, take your ethno, whatever, your race, whatever it is, good for you, go for it. But my son, go forth and multiply. Vaya con Dios. Don't call it the Manosphere. Don't call it red pill. Well, red pill just means truth. Yeah, well, okay, fine, if that's the where you're going to go with it. But don't jump on shows that are ostensibly about the Manosphere or ostensibly about, I think what are they calling them now? I believe it's Gen Z dating shows, I think is the new terminology for shows like, say, whatever podcast, which I like. Don't get me wrong. But if you go and you look, and I will go and I'll dig up the stats for that show. But like when Brian had Michael Knowles on that show not too long ago, about a month ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, anyways, that show beat out Fresh and Fit for that night. And I believe it was on a Wednesday night. They had a show that night. And Brian, to his credit, just farmed the living hell out of that, the super chats there, because he knew he had something going on there. And I have never seen him above like double digits as far as like, was he at 12,000? Maybe he was at 16,000 live views when he had Michael Knowles on there. Michael Knowles is a big deal, man. If you don't know who Michael Knowles is, he's a sort of he's a Muppet, really. he's a Daily Wire Muppet. So is Shapiro, so is Matt Walsh, so is Candace, pretty much everybody. I'm still, the jury's still out, I think, on Brett Cooper, but only maybe because I think she's funny, at least. If she's a Muppet, she's a funny one. But if you go and you look at these guys, what they are trying to do, and this is what they did in the 2016 election cycle, is they are going to try to find an angle into the Manosphere because they know that that's where their voters are. They know that that's where their voting block is, or that's where their new audience is going to be. So I have made the prediction back in New Year's Eve, and I'm still sticking by it right now because I don't see any reason not to. But you will not recognize the Manosphere probably by August or September of this year, simply because the shows that used to be about red pill topics, and by red pill I mean intersexual dynamics, the praxeology, that is the red pill, that is intersexual dynamics. I'm already seeing prominent evolutionary psychologists lean into politics and ideologies right now. I'm seeing guys who I have a lot of respect for, and I'm not going to name names because I don't know where they're going to go with it, but I do see them leaning that way right now. And I also see guys like Ben Shapiro, who is just simply like grifting on the Manosphere. And that's why I wanted to get into this. And that's why I said today's, the Daily Wire has become cartoons for the Manosphere. And people are loving it. Now, I want to point before I start riffing on some of these things, I want to point out that when Michael Knowles was on whatever podcast, and I do have a clip here, it's like your dad showed up on the show. And it's like, oh shit, dad's here, right? And dad sits down and he's pointing at the girls and say, you bitches ain't living right. Jesus said you are not living right. Y'all need to get married. Y'all need to shape up. And it's essentially like holding women accountable. It's the accountability template that has been made very popular by Fresh and Fit. I didn't play no small part in it myself, but it's when Myron and I are doing shows, or if we're doing Access Vegas, where we have different approaches to it. But what's happening right now, or what I see happening right now, is I see a lot of these guys who have a political sort of agenda or a political axe to grind, and they're coming in on these shows, and people love it, absolutely love it. How do I know? Because I look at playboard.co, or I look at Social Blade, and I look at the shows where you guys don't think I stay on top of my analytics. Oh, trust me, I do. But I'm looking at the analytics for whatever podcast when Michael Knowles is on there. And I'm looking at this, and he's playing. You can go look at it. It's almost 1 million for that. I believe it's at 900,000 views on that. It's close to 1 million for a show that is almost 6 hours long. Bravo, man. Even Roland Tomasi can't pull those kinds of numbers. But I looked at the super chat take on that, and it was close to $5,600, maybe $5,700. It was 56 and change. And God knows how much money he's made off of like ad revenue and clips and everything else. Very profitable for Brian. Bravo. And I would never begrudge him anything like that. It's awesome. But I do have to point out the fact that the reason why having Michael Knowles on a show like that and wagging his finger at the bad girls from UCS, from University of Santa Barbara. I don't know where you source those girls from, but it's most likely, I believe it's UCSB. But to go in there and be able to sort of wag your finger and play dad for a little while, or play sort of like a Baptist minister for a little bit on a show like that, you will not see Michael Knowles go on Fresh and Fit. I mean, if he does, that'd be a very interesting show. But I don't think that the Muppets of the Daily Wire look at Myron and Fresh and say, yeah, maybe we can get in on that. They will, however, go on something that looks a little bit more safe and maybe a little bit more white, which is whatever podcast. So as a result, you see Amala from Preggery has been on. Michael Knowles has been on. Not to say that, like Sterling Cooper and MLD have been on as well. So I'm not going to say it's just those guys. But you'll notice that a lot of the people, and I would not be surprised to see Matt Walsh on the show. I would not be surprised to see, and if you haven't, Brian, you need to get him. I would not be surprised to see Ben Shapiro on this show. Now, Ben will take swipes at Myron and Fresh from very old clips, by the way. He'll be happy to take swipes, but that's the thing is they're digging into the backlog of material of Myron and Fresh, or they're digging into the backlog of Adam Sosnick Saucecast or Valuetainment when Myron and Fresh were on there. I'm surprised they haven't dug anything out of me. They know better than to come at me, but they're going to go after Myron and Fresh because it sounds egregious. And by the way, that clip, this first one right here, where he smells the fart.
In today's day and age, you shouldn't be getting married until you're at least 35.
That was my next question for you. As a man,
that's the smell the fart clip. Okay, now this is off of Saucecast. This is from March of 2022. This was the month after I'd been on, and I introduced Myron and Fresh to Adam, and I said, hey, you guys need to collab. You guys got to do a show together. Sauce went on their show. They went on his show. This is from the one time that Myron and Fresh were on his show. Now, Myron and Fresh have also been on PBD, but this was the time that they were on there. And this is how far in the backlog of shows that the producers at the Daily Wire had to go dig so he could find something that, somebody fart. Myron, did you, man, move down. But let me pull that out there. So, I mean, you're digging up old material and reacting to it. In fact, by the way, I didn't even know that was a clip until Myron said, we need to respond to this at some point. So we'll probably talk about it the next time I'm out in Miami. I don't know when that's going to, maybe it's probably in May, I think at this point, but, and I would love to, but the first thing out of my mouth is this is the new grift. This is the new direction. This is the new pivot for these guys. So it's one thing to say, there's a lot of people coming into the sphere. There have been for a long time now. Some of them are more popular than others. I've been here longer than everybody, so I can look at this from sort of this God's eye view and go, okay, it's predictable. I see what's happening. That's why I said by August, you won't recognize the Manosphere. Because all the people who got into it, who are entertainers, all the people who got in, and I'm not naming names because there's plenty of them, but all the people who got into this topic, this niche, the Manosphere, red pill, intersexual dynamics, get laid, get paid, whatever. Everybody who gets into this sphere, by about August, you're going to see who's still about it. And I wanted to actually get this off my chest right now because it's the beginning of April. Thank you very much for the birthday well wishes. So today is April 6th, 2023. I'm going to hold myself to this prediction, and I will still say that by the middle of August or maybe the very beginning of September, the Manosphere will be unrecognizable, and it will be replaced by goons like this. It will be replaced by people pandering to the next big thing, which is going to be a Michael Knowles coming on these shows and wagging his finger at the girls, because that's the culture war. And it's easy money. It's low hanging fruit for these guys. They can't do it themselves. If they were to go and start their own shows, they would lose audience share. They would lose market share, but they can go on other people's shows and get in there. So Sergio from Purple Pill Podcast, get these guys on you want your podcast to go big, just sell the fuck out, dude. Just go grab these guys. Go get Michael Knowles, go get Matt Walsh. Seriously, they will come on your show. You put enough girls on there, they want to be a part of it. Now, like I said, they probably have a problem with well-established shows who know what the fuck they're talking about. So if you're looking at, say, a Myron and Fresh, Myron is also going to hold a Ben Shapiro's feet to the fire just as much as he does the girls. That's why they're kind of like sketchy about going on shows like that with people who know what the hell they're talking about. So when, like, for instance, when I go on to Dr. Phil, they're getting more than they bargained for. They think I'm a dumbass like everybody else that they bring on there, and I'm not. Right? I'm not an 80 IQ prole that they bring on there. Like, oh, I do what I want. It's not an episode of South Park when Rollo Tomasi goes on Dr. Phil. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about. I've been doing this for a long time. I can defend every point that I make. And that's the problem, is none of these guys, none of the Ben Shapiro's, none of the Matt Walsh's, none of the Candace Owens, they can't defend those points. So I could go bit by bit and just sort of like just eviscerate every single point, and I plan to here in just a moment, with Matt Walsh or with Ben Shapiro or with Michael Knowles. Right? They're going to make appeals to emotional appeals. Conservatives, tradcons, will make emotional appeals just as much as any woman will, just as much as any woke liberal will. They just do it from a different angle. They do it from a different perspective. That different perspective is usually morality. Moralism. I don't want to use the term, but we used to have a term called gosh, no, I can't use it because I can't say it on. I can't say this on YouTube in mixed company, but it's very much moralism, and that moralism reared its head in 2012 and in 2016. A bit more, probably maybe a little bit less in 2020, simply because of the beer bug. But I think you're going to see more and more of that. I think you're going to see people get more into the culture war narrative. And part of the culture war narrative, the easy in, is to go on these shows and wag your fingers at girls saying, you shouldn't wear yoga pants to the gym. It's disrespectful to your husband, and all the other guys sitting around in the gym are going to start staring at you. Ben, they know this. This is marketing. This is brand management. They know this. And probably Ben and his writers, because you got to remember that for every one of these Muppets that I'm about to show you today, there is a team, probably about a dozen people who are getting together going, yeah, we need this and we need this and we need this. We got to put these on there. You know, I knew that from the get-go, but like when I go and I do Dr. Phil, there's a whole production staff behind Dr. Phil. That you want to know when Dr. Phil says, I don't know who Andrew Tate even is. He's not lying. He doesn't. He has no clue who Andrew Tate was, but everybody on his staff did. And they need to put his name in Dr. Phil's mouth in order to get a good show out of that, which, by the way, played to about 2.6 million. That was for the show itself, which was good. It was a good show for me. But you're never going to, like, they're not going to, I don't get the invite. I'm persona non grata. I'm the black sheep of the family, man. And I will continue to be. And I'm good with that, right? Quite honestly, I'm good with that. But you're not going to see Rollo Tomasi get the call from Ben Shapiro. You're not going to see Rollo Tomasi get the call. And I hate to talk about myself in the freaking third person, but I am not going to get the call from Matt Walsh or Candace Owens or any of these other guys, because they fear what happened with Dr. Phil. Because I'll go in there and I'll wreck the place. I come prepared. They won't have Myron either. God, can you imagine? Can you imagine me and Myron going on like Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro? Can you imagine me and Myron going on I don't know, Michael Knowles' show or with they know us clearly. Hell, even Matt Walsh knows who Ryan fucking Stone is. They know our names. They go, say my name, man. Say my name.
Say my name.
Say my name, Matt Walsh. They know who I am. Man, even Hafiz can't even say my name without getting sweaty palms and shaking a little bit. And that's not me flexing on these guys. That's just a matter of fact. So this isn't me trying to like, oh, please let me on your show. No, I don't care. You know what they're doing? They're going, please let us on your show because we want to get more market share off of you guys who are the hustlers in the Manosphere right now. They won't come to Rollo Tomasi. They won't come to us. They'll go to Brian because that's safe. They'll go to they're probably already in talks about licensing or buying out PragerU. So, or, they license out, Jordan Peterson. They're already, by the way, I think I'm fairly certain that you will see Daily Wire do like collabs with Fox News because Fox News is old. Fox News is on its way out, and things like Daily Wire, maybe Newsmax, whatever, as far as like TradCon conservative stuff, all that's on the way in. That's new media. That's engagement media. I made this observation with the Dr. Phil show. I said, look, Dr. Phil is a dinosaur and he's dying out. And of course, a week after my show, he announces his retirement, which was freaking perfect. Thank you. Perfect timing. I had nothing to do with it, but it was still perfect. Thank you. I hope you think that I did. When you see somebody like Dr. Phil who wants a piece of the action, and you see a guy like, let's see who else. Well, I mean, hell, any of these guys, any of these Muppets, they all want a piece of the action. They all want in. They all want to get dealt in. And if your poker game is whatever podcast or Purple Pill podcast or Fresh and Fit or God no, hell, you know what? Red Pill Lions, please. These guys will come on your show. They're not even probably all that far away. Get them on. It won't be that hard to convince them that you are way bigger than you actually are. It's not hard because they're just playing the game right now. They don't care about the material. Their people don't care. The producers don't care about the material. They haven't been in it for 20 plus years. They don't care. It's the new, hey, what are the kids talking about? Oh, well, these Gen Z dating shows, and they're just wagging their fingers and they get these dumb cunts that come on the show and then they start, dressing them down. Hey, why don't we go on? Oh, sounds good. Yeah. And every guy who's got a show right now like this is just like they're feast and famine. You're feasting right now. But what will happen is in the future, you're going to see, especially right around August, you're going to see a lot of these guys sort of like pivot almost like wholesale over to social issues. I talked with Pearl recently, and people kept asking me, are you going to do a show about Pearl and what she's going through right now? And I'm going to lay off of that. I could. But I think that she's already kind of feeling the heat in a way that she wasn't expecting that she was going to feel the heat. So I'm backing up off of Pearl for a little bit. I just want to see where the cards land with her. I want to like her, but she's not in the Manosphere, even though people associate her with the Manosphere. She talks about being an entertainer, like on every damn occasion, which I don't have. You please go have whoever you want to on your show. But then when I get associated with that because I'm in the Manosphere and she's, at least people think that she's part of the Manosphere. Well, even Adam Sosnick, same thing. Adam will say he's not part of the Manosphere. He's not part of this red pill thing, but then he'll go and have all these guests who are part of the Manosphere, whether he knows who they are or they're not. So by default, you're a de facto Manosphere show. So when you get into hot water by having political pundits on, and some of them can be firebrands. Let's just be honest. Nick Fuentes is a firebrand. You're going to have to face the music, and you better know who the hell you have on the show. And I think if I'm just going to leave this here before I jump into these riffing on some of these things. If you're going to have Ben Shapiro on your show, if you're going to have Michael Knowles, if you're going to have Nick Fuentes, you might have Richard Spencer on your show. You might have, I don't know who else. I was talking to Mike about this, and Mike and I are like, we will have whoever the hell we want to have on the show. And so we're doing the Access Vegas is our template, right? It's our girl show. Although we tried to limit it to a certain number. We're not trying to like go over the top with a billion different girls, because we're more focused on the conversation. And people think we're going soft or we're going like too easy on these girls, when in fact all we're trying to do is have a conversation with the girls so that we can actually do something productive and hopefully the audience learns something. I think that's one thing that hopefully this will be a clip, right? I think one thing that people don't appreciate about like my show, or maybe Rule Zero, the guys in Rule Zero, certainly Mike's show, everything. We're not really, we don't have a super high sub count. We're not like we don't have a really high, what am I playing to? Like 737 people on a Thursday. A good show for me on Sunday is about 1,800. A really friggin' good show for me is about 2,700. And if I'm doing something with Will Smith and Chris Rock, then I'm playing to 5,600 people. It just depends on what the topic is at that time. But that's why I call it a pod class. Whoever gave me that, was it Glenn that gave me that? That's why I call it a pod class, because I want to educate. That really my point is to educate people. It's not to, I might hope I'm entertaining, Yeah. Jazz hands. Rollo's entertaining. He's making voices again, right? But my overall point is not to be an entertainer, to be an educator. And if you're in the Manosphere, I would hope that is your point and your purpose too, ultimately anyways. But a lot of people don't see that. So when you look at like Ben Shapiro, who like has this sort of like faux shock, I can't believe the girls are wearing yoga pants at the gym. Do you even go to do you even lift, bro? Welcome to planet Earth, man. Go down to Vegas and go to like, any major gym in Vegas. Please. Where's he? They're in Nashville, right? Oh, he doesn't live in Nashville. I think he lives in Florida, for fuck's sake. I mean, the Daily Wire is headquartered in Nashville, but I believe Ben lives in Palm Beach or something like that. If you live in Florida, you don't get to say I'm shocked at yoga pants. You don't get to say I'm shocked that these TikTok girls are like, grifting off of these guys like who are like just staring at their asses, right? Yeah, that's the whole thing. Congratulations, you just got played. You got punked. You're playing. You just helped them. But that's what I'm saying. It's like this idiocy. It's like, I didn't know. No, you did know. Your people sure as fuck did. Your producers knew. They knew enough to make you do that short. Or add it to your monologue so that they can pull it out as a short. You're not ignorant. You're not stupid. You know this. Stop it. Just stop it. I have more respect for you. Just cut the shit, man. Cut the shit, Ben. So just to put a period on this one, so I can get to the rest of these here, is I think that if you're going to be in this business, and especially if you're over 100,000 subs, you better know who's on your show. If you're at 1 million subs, you and your staff better know who the fuck is on your show. You don't get to say, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know who this guy was. I didn't know what they were about. I don't know. They just threw him on the show. I just scooped him up off the sidewalk and we put him on the show. Who are you? Let's talk about, you think girls are bitches and hoes. Get the fuck out of here. You know who he is. You know who these people are. And if you don't, you bloody well better, especially going forward. And the reason I'm bringing this up again is because by August, when all this stuff makes it's just trickling in right now. But by August or September, when we're in full swing of this next election cycle, you don't get to go, I don't know. Come on, man. At least, throw me a bone. Give me a reacher out here, brother. All right. Before I get into these, I will get to your, I have starred all of these. So I'm keeping track of these. Jordan Peterson said his friend Jim Keller, oh boy, offered to train an AI chatbot on everything JP wrote, so he could interview the AI. More interesting if they add your knowledge base. Thoughts? They already have, actually. People have already hit me up because they'll ask, write a Rollo post or something. Of course, it's probably 4,000 words, but it's interesting to me, when people ask the chat GPT, who is Rollo Tomassi? What's he really about? And then you have to say, okay, the band, there's a band called Rollo. Actually, there's 2 bands called Rollo Tomassi. There's a tech band. I want to say it's mathcore band, which is actually not too bad. There's a punk band called Rollo Tomasi, who I have actually had contact with because I'm like the biggest name when it comes to, that's not my real name. Thank you very much. But like the band, that other band, Rollo Tomasi, spelled with one L. I like them a lot. I actually kind of like their sound. So whenever they do something, I make sure that I promote them because I don't want to step over them. So, because I kind of like them. And then there's, of course, the movie. And then you have to say, oh, the Manosphere author, Rollo Tomasi, right? So you gotta sift through, like you gotta define who we're talking about, right? So when you get the ChatGPT description of me, like I'm either like the Messiah or I'm a son of a bitch. It'll be interesting to see how that works. Let me see here. The Daily Wire is not Manosphere cartoons because they are still blue pill about relationships. No, but the reason why they're cartoons is because they want to sanitize the red pill to be what they think, what their blue pill definitions are. That's why I call them cartoons. They are not fully educated yet. They are with certain things that will further spread the agenda. Of course they will. That's what they're about. They're not about the Manosphere. They're not about the show. They're not about intersexual dynamics. They're sure the shit is not. That's why they fear me and Myron and people who know what we're talking about. That's why they don't come. They don't invite us. And if they wanted to help, man, guys, I have an open invitation for anybody who wants to debate me, for anybody who wants to come on Access Vegas. If you have a problem with me, Destiny, if you have a problem with me, Alex from Playing with Fire, if you have a problem with me, Ruslan, if you have a problem with me, Hafiz, if you have a problem with me, Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, Brett Cooper, you can come in anytime you want. Michael Knowles, Amala, anybody from PragerU, Michaela Peterson. If you think I'm a prick and you want to just give me a piece of your mind, come to Vegas, fly your happy ass to Vegas. I will book the time at Sticky Paws. You will have 2 hours. Hell, we'll use my handy dandy new chess timer to so nobody gets to talk over each other. And you have a certain amount of time to make your points, and then I will have a certain amount of time to opine and tell you how you're full of shit. And you will sit across from me on a table, live, real time, on this show, on your show too. We can simulcast however you want to do it, but it will be live in real time. And you can get clips out of it if you'd like. But you know what you won't do? You won't be able to dice it up right then at your leisure. It will be live. You'll sit across the table from me, and I'll be happy to entertain anyone, all takers. Come on, just like Gary Ginsburg from Gary the numbers guy is coming out the 26th to Las Vegas. And you know what? I have more respect for him than anybody else because I've been saying exactly what I just said a minute ago since November. If you guys want to come out, you want to debate Rollo Tomasi, you come to Vegas, fly into Vegas, set yourself up. I can give you some suggestions. Hey, stay at the Cancun resort, really good, or the Tahitian. They're in South Vegas. Come on in, man. They're very close to the studio. Stay there, have a good time. It's Vegas, right? Come down. We'll do it. 2 hours. Give you 2 hours, okay? And we'll do it at Sticky Paws. And you'll sit across the table from me, stare me in the face, smell my breath, and we'll go at it. But until you're willing to do that, I don't know what to tell you. Gary, the numbers guy, did. I got more space. He's got the balls to do it. Of course, he's going to go up against Mike Sartain. It's not me, but that's not so much me. But like, he has a problem with Mike Sartain and astrology and MBTI and numbers and numerology and all that good, hocus pocus stuff. So we're going to do that on the 26th. That will be at 1 p.m. Pacific to 3 p.m. Pacific. So that's coming up. I'm going to make a bigger deal out of that coming up soon, but it's like 3 weeks off right now. So. To be fair, I'm the opposite. I'm a former TradCon that's now invested in intersexual dynamics. Good for you. It means you're paying attention. TradCons are at the front of the line to marry a former porn star and single mother. Yeah, because they're all youth pastors and they go, "Oh, you're out of the business now? Oh, well, Jesus saves. Come on, we'll have babies together." I guess they need to be economically viable to take care of the stepkids. Yeah. That's another thing is like when you look at like TradCons, they're really big on being stepdads too. They love that narrative. That's another reason why Rollo Tomasi will never be on those shows. I know body count isn't a metric of game. What can I use for a metric for myself? I don't know. The quality of chicks you're getting. Are you getting any girls? That might be the first place to start. And when people say, well, Rolo's only got 41 body count. Those are rookie numbers, man. You gotta get those numbers up. Well, technically I did, because the CDC said that if you get a blowjob, that counts as a notch. So my numbers went up. I don't know exactly what those would be, but like according to the because I was trying to be very conservative, right? But apparently that's not enough. If you're not in triple digits, then you're a rookie, right? But the reason why I said body count isn't a metric of game is because you can go buy a hooker every night if you want. Does that mean you have good game? If the metric is just getting laid, then your body count will be 1,000. 1,000 that you paid for every single one. So that's the point I was making about that. Let's see. Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire can't beat Myron or me or Ryan Stone or Rich Cooper for that matter. Or think of the guys who you have some respect for. Even if you think I'm a son of a bitch, then fine. Go. Who do you have respect for in the sphere? They can't beat them either. And I hate to even use the term beat. I think that's the key there is, and nothing against you, Abbas, but I think using the term beat, that what happens is you then put it into terms of competition. And I don't think a good discussion and a good debate should be about, he's going to destroy you. You know what? Wait a minute, here we go. It shouldn't be like this.
Round 1, fight.
Shouldn't be like that. That's not a debate, man. That's just like blood sport. If that's what you want, I'm happy to accommodate, but don't call it a debate. You're not going to learn. It's not a pod class at that point. Class is not in session. It's just blood sports. And trust me, I'm not above blood sports. I'll be happy to do those too. But at least let's clarify terms. Why are we here? Number one, because I think one of my biggest problems, or one of my biggest errors, I guess, is presuming that people are like sort of honest brokers, right? Or they're genuine in their interest in actually wanting to get down to the point. That's why, I'll tell you, I love Jedediah Bila like a sister, and hopefully I will be able to go back on her show at some point, because now I think Valuetainment hates me. But I have nothing. I have nothing but love for Jed. I think that she is one of the better converts, I guess. Is that a word? Going from sort of educating her. Yeah, I think that's maybe it's a better choice of words to say she's a success story as far as educating someone in intersexual dynamics or the red pill. She had an interest in it. She was very much against myself and Myron, and probably would have been against Tate probably June or like the beginning of July of last year. Now she is fully on board. Now you could say, well, that's because that's where the money's at. Yeah, she's got more subs, by the way, than Adam Sosnick does now. She's at 188. I think he's at 160. Not by much, but she came up faster than Sauce did. And that's because she does it every day. Sauce only does it every Thursday or Friday. I don't know what his schedule is right now. But they got into this topic, this niche, because it's the topic du jour. And I have every expectation, and I love him to death, but I have every expectation that Jed and Sauce and anybody in Valuetainment, anybody at Daily Wire, everybody at PragerU, all these guys are going to pivot out of the Manosphere once they've taken enough out of it and they've got enough audience share from it so that they can start talking about other issues, which will most likely be the culture war. So, it's not about beating. That's the problem. I think that's the whole thing, is it should be about educating, not entertainment. It should be about, to me, beating someone is like changing their mind about something. So like when people say, you need to go and debate Destiny, which, by the way, the door's open if you want to come down to Vegas and have a quote unquote debate. But the long and the short of it is when the reason why people want me to debate Destiny is because they want to see him get his ass kicked. And it's like, that's not a debate. That's just a competition. That's like tribalism. That's like team sports, which if that's what you want, I'm okay with that too. But don't call it a debate, because it's not about educating. It's not about educating the other person or changing that person's mind, or even really educating anybody who's watching, because they're all on your team or they're on the other guy's team. And so it's like, fight. It's stupid, because nothing gets done. Nothing gets sorted out. Nobody changes their minds about jack shit. Like when I did the interview with Richard Reeves, me and Mike did it. People were like, "You're too soft on him. You should have told him to go to hell, Rollo." No, I shouldn't have, because that wasn't the point of that conversation. And as a result, I'm going to have Richard Reeves back on so we can talk about things further. Okay, now we got to know each other. Now we trust each other. I'm not going to like punch him in the face. He's not going to like, be gun shy or anything like that. Come in, we'll have a discussion. It's the same thing I did with Jedediah, because I think there's something to work with right there. The guy's an intelligent guy. Don't give him, he's mistaken, I think, ideologically, but he's not dumb. He's just ignorant of a lot of the stuff that we talk about. And, he needs to have things put into a different light for him. I think he could be a really strong ally in the future because he has 2 boys. I think they're grown now, but I'm not saying his heart's in the right place. His heart, his purpose. I think he's sincere. I think he's just mistaken about a great many things. And I don't get to have that conversation with him if I tell him to go fuck himself. So on a recent Lex Friedman, is it Friedman or Friedman? Friedman. It's not, is there an E in his name? Pod with Dr. Shannon Curry. They discussed that loyalty is more important than honesty. Oh, really? I'd like to hear the rational male opinion. Okay, hold that thought. I'll come back to that. I'll leave that starred. Well, why you got to flex on Dr. Phil so hard? I didn't. You guys did. You did this to me. I scared off the competition. It wasn't that. It was, well, maybe it was, but it was, this is what you can expect if you have Rollo on your show. Pearl is being crowned the king of the Black Manosphere. Is she? Do you think Pearl should be should we call, at this stage, should we say that Pearl is in the Manosphere? Because I don't think she would say she is. I know I've heard Adam say, I'm not part of the Manosphere. I just have people on. I'm not red pill, but I talk to the guys who are red pill. Dude, I'm glad for you. Please do. Please keep it going. But whether you are or you aren't, people are going to make that association. So like to say, well, is Pearl really part of the Manosphere? The very fact that you're going, that means there's some association there. Isn't the TradCon pivot into intersexual dynamics a symptom of the typical attitude of commodifying contentious issues, gender, marriage, etc., for personal gain? Yes, and it is. You're absolutely 100% right about the clout jacking part of it. Okay, people have more clout than you, and you want to jump in on you want to throw your hat in the ring. You've got to go and either punch the biggest guy on the prison yard, or else you've got to find somebody to ally yourself with. Most people want to punch me in the face because I'm the biggest guy in the freaking school and the biggest name. Anyway, you want to make a name for yourself on your next YouTube channel, like that. I don't even know the dude's name. It was on Mike Sartain's show. The dude is just he's a nobody. He's just like functionally autistic. I don't even know what the dude's about, but he's trying to make a name for himself by shitting all over everybody in the Manosphere. Oh, wow. There's a template. Wow. That's novel. So nobody's thought of that before. But then there's the guys who want to get into this, and that's how you get like a Michael Knowles on a whatever podcast. Whatever podcast, I believe they're at 4 million, maybe they're close to 4.5 million subs right now. I don't look at subs. I look at live views. What's your live view? What's your regular live views? What do those look like? How many people are tuning into your show at a particular time and watching? And what's your audience retention? You have to look at those things in different ways. So yeah, it is. You're absolutely correct about that, Czar. But and you're right. It's clout jacking 101. It's like, how can it's either for financial gain or it's to establish yourself to a point where your brand of me, your personal brand, is positioned to be in the right place, the right niche at the right time. And that's going to be probably about mid-August or like the beginning of September when we finally get into full swing in the election cycle. But the clout jacking side of things, I don't even really want to call it clout jacking. It's the clout economy. We've gone from the gig economy to the hustle economy to the clout economy, because all the people who have established themselves as like premier, like preeminent hustlers of this time, now they have a whole shit ton of clout, and now other people want some of that clout. So they're the people who want the clout. They're not even hustlers. They're just like nobody, no names. But if they can get on with somebody who has clout, then that by association, at least the concept is that they believe that they're going to get clout. Pearl copied questions for word from a YouTube channel. It's complicated. She's a fake. Okay. I don't know that. I would like to see if that is true. I would like to see if that's true. I have seen It's Complicated. Torsha has been on that show or has done like what woman on the street thing. I know they're out of Vegas. They've hit me up. I may go do that, but I don't do like guy on the street videos. If It's Complicated wants to come to Sticky Paws, or if I'm in Vegas and they want me on their show, do they have a show? Because I've only ever seen It's Complicated do like the man on the street kind of things. You know who you need to get? Not me. You need to get Mark Savo from the Savo brothers on It's Complicated. It's Complicated, if you're watching me, I'll be happy to work with you. I'll be happy to collab with you. But before you do, go look at Mark Savo's man on the street stuff, because he is fucking hilarious. And he does not let the conversation drop. He's a brilliant conversationalist. So go look up Mark Savo. Don't look at Roll Tomasi. Go look at Mark Savo. I'm telling you, go look at Mark Savo. Marcsavo. Mark Savo. I work with him. If you don't know who Mark Savo is, if you don't know who Kevin Savo is, you don't know who Rocky Savo is, and hell, if you don't know who Nikki is, you better bloody well know, because they are coming up fast. Oh, geez. All right. Do I have to go through all these? Okay. I got to you. I'm gonna catch up, and then okay. I hope Rep Hill guys stop calling Cuxtony before Fuentes. Cuxtony now has a history with Lauren Southern, which I am more than happy to expose. Because now we know that Lauren Southern has a history with Andrew Tate. I forget the other guy, and then also a history with Destiny. And that's, I don't know. This allegedly, this is just hearsay. There might be some form of sexual assault in that, but that's what I'm watching on these shows. So I'm just reporting the news. I'm holding up a mirror. I just work here, man. You guys can go dig that out yourself. And I do mean dig it out. Do you think Trump is alpha? Seriously. I think he presents himself as alpha. I don't, because that's kind of a loaded question. Alpha in the sense that he knows how to control a room? Absolutely. Command presence? Absolutely. Very full of himself, very self-assured, very definitely has dark triad personalities, narcissism, Machiavellianism, and sociopathy, meaning he lives in his sort of his like own like personal world, right? His reality distortion bubble is what they would say about like Steve Jobs. Yeah, Trump's definitely in that category. When it comes to women, I don't know, because I've heard him like sort of play the game with feminists and you know, hey, it's Women's Day kind of thing. Like maybe that's just him playing the game, but it's hard to say. Would I consider him alpha? I think it just depends on the context. I think by and large, yes, but by me saying that, Rollo thinks that Trump is alpha. Oh my God, doesn't he know about story time? No. I'm just going by behavior. If you behavior wise, from what I see, seems that way. A super sticker who I can't show, but thank you, Sergio Cole, for the super sticker. I can see it over here, but I can't see it right here. Sorry. StreamYard, please. You want to update the application? Allow me to put super stickers on the screen. Tracon's attempt to have game is just insufferable as White Knights. Yes, it is. It's White Knights coming into a space that they got no business being in. It's another shade of it. No, what it is, they want to defend any woman's honor. They do. That's the White Knight side of it, you know. Saved Milady's honor. Prove my quality to Milady. Yeah, and you want to talk about blue pill alphas? I'm not saying like some of these. I think what kills me is like when I say like, if I say Ben Shapiro is a beta, he's a blue pill chump. Some people will say, he's got more money than you, Rollo, so he must be alpha. You're just professionally jealous. Really? If that's so, like I just said, hey, behaviorally, command presence wise, Trump seems very alpha to me. Ben Shapiro is kind of weedy and weesh, but he makes more money than me. Makes more money than a lot of people I know. Does that make him alpha? Money, muscles, and game. How much money can offset you not having? How much money makes you alpha? Right? To like overall, like you get Bill Gates and you know, you got, what is it? You name the guy who's rich, any dude who's rich, right? Does that make them necessarily alpha because of the money that they've got. Well, it must be. Must be knowing what he's doing. Well, you win the lottery. Does that make you alpha? Jeff Bezos, right? Does Jeff Bezos is not, although he's trying to kind of like butch himself up a little bit. He's kind of, is he on TRT or something? He's like a little more yoked recently. But you look at his personal decisions as like Jeff Bezos could be banging a new chick every night if he wanted to. Does that make him alpha or not? I don't know. That's a problem with trying to define alpha, especially today. Because somebody, however closely a dude aligns to whatever your particular identity is, that's clearly he's alpha. Look at all this money. Okay, well, clearly he's alpha. Look, the dude's jacked. He looks like Robert Frank. He must be alpha. Look, the guy's like, he's like the best at game, and he just pulls tail like you wouldn't believe. Is he alpha, or is he just good at the bullshit? Right? Leave the hut piece, making me for me. I got you. What? The hut piece, the hit piece. Thank you. Not the Jabba the Hutt piece. The Pizza the Hut piece. Troy came through on Alex playing with fire. It was good faith. Another guy poisoned the well. Yeah, they do. And thank you, Troy, for doing so. I'll wager you guys agree, mostly agree. Owen Cook collab too. I would definitely do a collab with Owen before I would do anything with Alex from Playing with Fire. Alex's biggest problem is that he believes all the bullshit that Anthony Johnson fed him from 4 years ago. Because every time I listen to Destiny, or I listen to Alex, or I listen to Ruslan, or I certainly listen to Hafiz, they're all the same person to me because they all straw man me. Rollo says this. Oh, okay. Where? When? The red pill guys, they're always talking about these things. Who? When? Give me links. Tell me when. Who are we talking about? None of them have any. It's all straw man. And I'll tell you this right now. So if you want to come to Vegas and you want to sit across the table from me and you want to have it out with Rollo Tomasi, great. But don't think for 1 second I'm not going to tell you you're full of shit. Because 90% of the stuff is that I hear from guys like that who, well, he's ducking me. Those guys, they're talking out of their asses because they don't know what they're ignorant. I'm not saying they're stupid. I'm just saying there's a difference between stupidity and ignorance. They're just ignorant. Anybody who wants to, man, door's open. I'll pay for it. It costs money, man. It costs a good chunk of change. I got to pay my people. Thank you for that. Isn't it funny how none of these red pill chicks like Billy Ray Brandt? Who? Billy Ray Brandt? I have never, ever heard that name before. Billy Ray Brandt uses MGTOW content. Okay, I'll take your word for it. And it's funny. People are like, he doesn't know who Billy Ray Brandt is. No, I don't. Who the fuck are we talking about? I don't think you'll ever see a girl regurgitate TFM's ideas and promote dolls and trans rights. Yeah, probably not. Certainly not the dolls. The biggest mistake we can make in the red pill is turning it into a team jersey rather than a knowledge base. Yeah, you want to know why I've resisted doing merch for so long? It's team sports, man. It's tribalism. That's why there's a black manosphere and a white manosphere. You'll notice there's no Latino manosphere. There's no Indian manosphere. There's no Filipino manosphere. There's just a black manosphere and a white manosphere. You want to know what that's all about? That's about dividing men. That's I'm dead ass serious too. That's dividing us. When I talk about the sisterhood uber alles, women have no problem with that. You could be from any country. You could be any color. You could be from any socioeconomic background. If women feel like they're put against by men, they will lock arms and they will close ranks, and it will be It'll be the sisterhood uber alles, the sisterhood above everything else. You do not see that with men because it is organized, it's systemized to keep men from having any kind of solidarity together. And the easiest way to do that is say, well, that's the black manosphere. That's the white manosphere. And that's the Jew manosphere. And that's the Christian manosphere. And that's the Muslim manosphere. And that's the Asian manosphere. And that's the Indian manosphere. And what they got to do is they have to find ways to keep everybody isolated because they know damn well if guys get together, we have solidarity, we have a brotherhood uber alles, they're fucked. And I hope that that's the way we can do it. I've always pushed for men are men. That's it. I don't care if you're in the black manosphere, the white manosphere, the old manosphere, the new manosphere. I don't care what generation you're from. That's why I've said the red pill needs to be fundamentally asocial, aracial, apolitical, whatever. It can't be associated with an ideology. And you know why? And you're seeing it happen right now. I hate being right all the time. You see it happen all the freaking time. It's just divisiveness, because they know that if men get together, they've done a very good job of keeping men, and this is the gynocentric social, we've done this to ourselves, and now it's sort of like snowballed into what it is right now. But we have done a very good job of isolating ourselves really since the sexual revolution, because we think that it's in our best interest to be so when we're not, because what we're doing is we're so busy trying to build women up that we don't even think about ourselves. We don't know how to relate with each other as men anymore. You want to get on a show with me, Ben Shapiro? We'll talk about that immediately, because that's what these guys are doing. They're tribalizing things. Just by their involvement in the manosphere, that's exactly what they're doing. There's no solidarity in the manosphere. And it's as a result, these guys come in and make a good chunk of change off of it, go through an 18. They know there's a lot of money to be made in an 18-month election cycle, and they're already salivating for it. I followed you on the Bluebird app. The Bluebird app. Did you know that I was on Bluebird? Found out about the recent BT lies. Oh, it was definitely worth the read. The Bluebird. You found me on Bluebird? Because I only signed up for that once when I was in Scottsdale. So I could ride one of them scooters around Scottsdale, which you can't really go that far on those damn things. What's your take on Casey Zander? Have not heard from him. Or have you not heard of him? I know who Casey Zander is. Casey's actually wanted to do one-on-one counseling with me, and I feel bad because I was never really able to follow up on that. I like Casey quite a bit, though. Thank you. Sergio Cole with another super sticker, chat, whatever. Tomas. Oh, Thomas, my good friend Tomas. Thank you. Yeah, happy belated birthday. Thank you, Tom. I know who you are because you have a V at the end of your name. Because you can't actually probably type out that many letters of your real name. The Rational Male, what do you think about the Rolling Stones hit piece on FNF? They were where they were after connecting him with Adam 22. I haven't seen it yet, but if somebody can link that to me and tell me the Rolling Stone hit piece, I would love to see that. I haven't seen it yet. Did it just come out? There's a Rolling Stone hit piece on Fresh and Fit. I would love to see it. I would be a little skeptical of anything that that Rolling Stone ever puts out ever again. The reason for that is because, and maybe you don't know this, but in 2014, they got caught with their pants down. In fact, they got caught lying. They contracted Sabrina Erdley, who is the writer of the infamous rape hoax. And I can say that because that's what it is. It was a rape hoax that was published in Rolling Stone magazine. And it was the UVA hoax, the University of Virginia, right? And they implied a fraternity. Come to find out, is entirely fabricated. And Rolling Stone was sued for damages to the tune of about $4.5 to $5 million as a result of that. It took like 4 years to sort of go through the process. I followed that from day one. People gave me so much grief. Rollo, I can't believe you would blame the victim. Blah, 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 blah. I go, this doesn't smell right. Because in the story, like this poor girl was like gang assaulted by a fraternity on a glass table. There's no ER records. There's no blood. There's no stitch. Like, okay, well, if that happened and they shattered a glass coffee table while they were, taking turns on this girl, wouldn't she have not gone to the ER? Would EMTs not have shown up? Would there have not been some like stitches? Would she not have scars from something like that? It's horrible, right? Well, it turns out it's completely bullshit. But the very fact that you would say it's not bullshit, there must be something wrong with you. And come to find out, Sabrina Erdley has a history of looking for salacious stories that she can build up into something that's bigger. And of course, Rolling Stone bought it hook, line, and sinker. Same thing with that girl, Mattress Girl. I forget her name, Sulaki or something like that. I can't remember her last name was funky, but she was Mattress Girl. She would carry around this single mattress around school because she supposedly got assaulted or forced sexual copulation. No, she didn't. It's all bullshit. It was a art project. She was a performance artist, and her final project, her art project, was her like getting railed on camera. Right? Nobody talks about that shit anymore. Nobody even remembers that. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about that stuff. But so whenever I see Rolling Stone together in a magazine. I'm like, they're lost all. What's her name? Something Suliki. I forget her name. Yeah. Oh, she brought. Yeah, that's great. She brought the mattress to her college graduation too. You want to talk about the attention economy? There you go. I have not seen the Fresh and Fit one, so if somebody wants to link that to me, I will definitely read it and tell you if it's bullshit or not. Who's more alpha, Jon Snow or Jaime Lannister? Oh, come on, man. They're both fictional characters. The Manosphere will always threaten to divide because we as men can't help but sort ourselves into hierarchies and thus division. I will say this. You're right about this, Wilcox. We are always competing with one another. And that's just, it's men's nature to be competitive, to rank ourselves into hierarchies, of course. But that does not mean we can also cooperate with each other to bring down the woolly mammoth, right? To go and hunt caribou. Men are good, or we're better as a team, and when we have solidarity. And the reason for that is the reason why that's exceptional is because we have to put aside that competitiveness to win a war, to complete a project. And that's how we form brotherhood. That's how we form friendships. I've got an upcoming, if you don't know this, I have a Substack now. And my next topic on Substack is going to be about male friendships, because I'm sort of doing a counter to this recent video of Richard Reeves. And it's so complex. I was going to do something about it like on a show, but I said, no, I'm going to write about this one because I'm a better writer than I am about like trying to express myself, because everybody tells me to get to the fucking point. Why do you choose another voice for your last book, Player's Handbook? I love Sam's voice. I know, I do. I just felt it needed to. I wanted a more conversational tone for that one. When I do the Maxims book, I will probably go back to Sam Bada for that one, because it's a little bit more like it's a presentation sort of feel. Whereas when I was doing the Player's Handbook, I wanted to be like I'm talking to you. So it's a choice depending on like sort of like the flavor and the theme of the book. That's all. And let's see. I meant the app by Elon. Bluebird? Am I on Bluebird? Oh, that's, you can say Twitter, dude. Just say Twitter. It's okay. You can say Twitter, my friend. It's okay to type Twitter, brother man. Championing the Black Manosphere is the same as BLM trying to separate itself for a cause, but all agree all lives matter. So the sphere represents all men. What is your take? My take is this: no lives matter. Blood for the blood god. Skulls for the skull throne. Corn cares not from whence the blood flows. Just that it flows. It's in your DM. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to get to it, Glenn. By the way, just people want to know, I'm going to do a talk with Glenn and the guys from Iron Disciples about is the red pill compatible with Christianity for the umpteenth time. I've had this conversation before, but that's coming up. I don't know what the date is. I was going to do it with you guys before, but I had Masculine Geek like really hitting me up, and I promised I was going to do something fun for us for a minute. Sorry, I was having fun. Can I do that, please? LFA has great Manosphere content too. Andrew Tate is free. He will save the Manosphere, and Rolo is here, so I think there's hope. Thank you. The jury is still out. Remember, they're still on house arrest. I think they're either too happy or they're too pissed off about Andrew right now. I hope he gets out. I do. As a friend, I hope he gets out. But as I've said before, I have to be Tate agnostic about things right now until they go to trial, and they will go to trial. If they have those little bracelets on those little anklets on their ankles, there's probably going to be a trial. So we sort ourselves into hierarchies because women select from that hierarchy. They do, but it's also based on performance, Wilcox. A lot of men will sell their fellow men out for poon. They will. That's true. Mostly beta guys. You know who will sell you know who's more likely to sell out another guy for poon? A guy who's beta. It's sneaky fucker game is what it is. Guys who are like way more alpha, who have more sexual opportunities, there's no need for them to sell out to poon because they know that they're going to be rewarded with sex from women anyways. The guys who's going to be more loyal to you, who's going to be more of a better friend to you, is the guy who's going to be like above you in station, who doesn't need to do that. It's the guys who are blue pill chumps who think that chick is the only chance they got and they better fuck their friends to get to that. That's where the real problem comes from. Guys who are more alpha, who have more sexual opportunity, who are getting who fuck, they don't have much reason to screw you over, you know, because they're like, okay, fine. But that's not really what it's entirely about, because sexual, like male masculine hierarchies, it's simply how we organize ourselves. Men organize societies in hierarchies, period. End of story. That's why we have the military. That's why we have workplace. That's why we have sports teams. That's what's our captain of the team. There's a CEO, a president. There's the general and the admiral and the chain of command. That's what we do. And you know why we do that? Not because we want to get laid, although that might have something to do. We say, hey, well, I'm an admiral. I've got this nice white suit, so therefore I'm going to get some pussy, and you're just going to go clean the latrines. That, you know, you could always keep that in the back of your head, but it's also based on performance. Hierarchies exist because men have an innate burden of performance. It also comes back to respect. What makes you respectable? Right? Respect amongst men is hierarchical. Respect amongst women is in the round. It's common. It's communal. It's common courtesy. Everyone deserves respect. No, they don't. Everyone's equal. No, they're not. Well, God sees us as all equal in his eyes. I'm glad. Yeah, I'd be glad, because human beings are pretty much worthless and pieces of shit anyways. You better be glad that God loves you. I don't know how, but you know, he's God. I'm not, right? So, but when it comes to respect, men respect each other on station, right? What have you done that has earned my respect of you? What makes you respectable? Your performance, right? That's why we do it in stations. It's not just about sex. It is, for sure. It's a byproduct of it. That might even be the inspiration for it, depending on the context. But we organize ourselves in hierarchies because what makes you respectable as a man is what you've done. What's your performance? Oh, you're a quarterback of the, you know, Oakland Raiders. God, I can't believe we got fucking Jimmy Garoppolo. Porn star Jimmy. Or you're, you know, Jonathan Marchessault and the Vegas Golden Knights. Yes, I have lots of respect for you. But I also have respect for people who are, you know, great inventors, great artists, whatever. I mean, there's different contexts for respectability, but you have to do something. That's why when I have a problem with like MGTOWs or whatever, we're just going to give up and not forget girls. That, to me, that sounds like you're just saying I don't want to be competitive, which if that's what you want to do, fine. But the guy who is competitive and the guy who's doing things and making accomplishments and building himself up and has done something respectable is going to earn more respect than you are. Doesn't have anything to do with pussy. So let's see, man, you guys are like slowing me down. Any chance you're collaborating with Indian YouTubers? I don't know. Are you an Indian YouTuber? Because I will definitely collab with you. I still need to get Deepika Barjwan on my show. She is the documentary filmmaker that did India's Sons, and I would very much like to do a follow-up with her. Is that it? Did I catch up? I think I actually caught up. Holy mother of God. Okay. Let's dig into this. I'm going to go one by one here and just like eviscerate these people.
You consider getting married?
So I have, this is my thing that I tell guys.
Yeah.
I think 35 years old, had slept with at least 50 women, 100K per year, you're in shape, and you got 6 months to 1 year of savings.
All right, done. I got to get married. I've done all that. That's easy.
Here's the Republic right there. So that is a...
Okay, by the way, when you see that... Okay, by the way, when you see that pull in and pull out, that's his people doing that. So that's meant for dramatic effect. So here's how so there must be something important.
Recipe for a terrible marriage, by the way, guys. Waiting until you're 35 and have slept with 50 women, that is a terrible recipe for marriage by every available data point. It turns out that you are much better in terms of getting married if you get married younger.
No, incorrect. Actually, data, lots and lots of data show that if you get married between the ages of, say, like 18 and 21, 22, the likelihood of you having a divorce is catastrophically higher than if you get married like later on, like mid 20s. Most people, Ben Shapiro, the average age of first marriage in the United States for men is 29 years old. And I think it might even be older than that now. I think it's like more like 30. And for women, it's like 29. There is a reason for that. You want me to be on your show and you want me to school you on how that is? I will be happy to do so. But you are wrong. Yes.
If you do not have a wide variety of sexual partners, all the stuff about, being in shape and having money and all the rest, like you should try to do that generally speaking. But there's no.
Generally speaking, no. Do you think he lifts? I lift. I'm in better shape than Ben Shapiro. I am 100% sure. You think he goes? Do you think he lifts? I don't think he lifts. Does he got guns. You should go to generally speaking, you should go and work out. You know who's in better shape than me? Myron Gaines. I'm in better shape than Fresh, but Myron's probably got me on a few things. Yeah. Wait till you see the Instagram from May for this coming May. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think he lifts coffee. He lifts coffee. Cheers. Devil Mountain Coffee. Go get it now. Use code RMS, the Rational Male Show, RMS, and you'll get 20% off your order. I'll put the banner up in a minute. So I'm not trying to be, well, maybe I am. I'm trying to be a little bit entertaining. He's full of shit. He knows he's full of shit. But you know what? Here's the thing. I'm going to explain to you why, because I'm going to do some of these other ones. We'll start with Ben Shapiro here.
Notion that you wait until you're 35, you've already made a bevy of mistakes that have shaped your character and made you much more rigid as a person, and that you should have.
Okay, so let me explain a few things to you here, because clearly you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So where do we go? Ben, if you're going to wait till you're 35 to get laid, like I think that's the thing is you have seen me do, I should have called this up. You have seen me do the clip where he talks about how he met his wife and how like the whirlwind romance that he had with her basically begged her to marry him. Jordan Peterson begged Tammy 3 times, by the way, to marry him. So I don't think you're the best guy to be taking advice from when it comes to marriage, Ben, but it sounds truthy. It sounds like it might be true, but it's not. And I explain a few things here to you. First and foremost is this my spicy graph here. If you look at the point there where both the pink and the blue bell curves sort of meet, and again, this is my entirely it used to be unscientific graph. It's way more backed up than I thought it was. I was just kind of like making this kind of tongue in cheek back in 2014 when I made this, but as you can see, right around 29, 30, which is the average age of first marriage. That's when women are on the decline of their sexual market value and men are on the ascendancy of their sexual market value. What Shapiro is telling you right now is, first of all, most women don't want to get married when they're young. They want to play the field. They want to be advertising. They want the best of the best, man. So would it behoove that? Here's the thing. Like Ben, it's not Myron you need to be telling this to. It's the bitches on the show that you need to be telling it to. It's the girls on whatever podcast that you need to be wagging your finger at. You need to get married early, young ladies. You're not living right. If you would, like, imagine him saying that to the girls on whatever podcast. Or come, you know what? Open invitation, Ben. Come on Access Vegas, and you could tell all the girls from Vegas exactly what you think with respect to getting married early. Now, the other part of that is this. The reason why I peg 36, 37 as men's peak potential years is because it takes longer for men to get to the point where they have the most of what women want to be associated with and marry and have long-term security with. Whether that, well, people are going to say, hey, just don't get married. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Here's your moment of glory. Don't get married. But if you are, you're probably going to be at your peak potential as a dude at about 36, 37, you'll be hitting your stride then. You will have the most, or you have the best potential to have the most of what will make you the most attractive for women. Because what is attractive to women is not the same thing that is attractive to men. End of story. Thank you very much. Thanks for playing, Ben Shapiro. Goodbye.
Had a basis of comparison in terms of sex of dozens and dozens and dozens of women. No, the data do not support this, and it's stupid.
No, it does. For women. You're 100%. You know what? You are 100% right. If all we were talking about was chicks. Yes. The more sexual partners that women have, the worse off they are. The higher the instance of divorce, the higher the instance of depression, the higher the instance of STDs, clearly, the higher the instance of marital dissatisfaction. That's a very important distinction to make because that's how they unhappiness. I don't like to use the term unhappiness, right? Because, I mean, if I went in the next room and I asked my wife, "Are you happy?" She'd be like, "Well, yeah." But if our dog dies or something like that, then are you happy? No. Well, stop it with that bullshit, okay? It's marital satisfaction or dissatisfaction. And who do they ask when it comes? Who do you think, if you were to ask, like if you did a poll of Americans between the ages of, let's just say 24, that's good. Yeah, okay, 24 range, all the way up to prime working demographic. Let's do it. 25 to 45 or 44. I believe that's how Morgan Stanley rates it. So if you went 25 to 44 or 45, like that demographic, and you ask them, the people who are married and who were actually married, and you ask them, the men, the husbands, and the wives, are you in a satisfactory marriage? I would argue, this is me spitballing here. I don't know this for a fact, but if they took that poll, by the way, Rugby, if those exist, get me the numbers. But I would say that men would say they're more satisfied in their marriages than women would. It is always women who are more dissatisfied in the marriage than men are, because they sold out on a guy's potential, and that guy's not like, there was a bad bet. He's the wrong horse. He's a losing horse. Didn't actually make anything of himself. I love him, but that's a hot guy at the office that I want to get after, right? Or I'm just not. It's not so much like happy. No, they're happy. Like most women are happy in marriage. You can go look at the polls. Hell, Alex from Date Psych will tell you that. But are they like satisfied? And do they want something else? Do they want something more? That's a different question than saying, "Are you happy?" Right? Happiness is like temporal, anyways. But I would argue that men would say they have more marital satisfaction than women would. Because your men are always playing up to try to satisfy women. If mama ain't happy, nobody's happy, right? Happy wife, happy life. Yeah, those guys who tell you that, they will probably tell you, "Oh, I love being married." Meanwhile, their wives are watching Aquaman because they're big fans of DC Comics. Let me. Oh, hi, Elena. Elena, you became a member. Thank you. Maybe people don't know this, but I do offer memberships. Thank you very much. I haven't gone into membership mode yet, but I might when I have when I have way more than 868 people playing. Thank you guys for joining me on a Thursday afternoon. Alberto, everyone deserves respect and love. No, they don't. Let me actually remove you out of there. There we go. The equal distribution doesn't apply to their wombs and their reproductive rights. That's only for alphas. Thank you. Yeah, everybody's equal. Sure they are. I had a thought. Let me. This is a side note. Complete distraction. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it anyways, because I was watching one of these stupid ass shows, and you'll have women who will say like, "Oh, like the girl who was talking about the patriarchy, right? Oh, the patriarchy, right?" Okay, well, if they want to talk about like promiscuity and they want to talk about body count, which is what he was getting into, and you can get into like beauty standards or like body fat acceptance, and then you can get into topics like gender identity. I identify as a furry, right? I identify as a whatever. Roll Tomasi, I identify as a black female lesbian who presents himself as a white male. Yeah, that's me. You have to respect that from me. You have to love me. In fact, they have these. I've seen the videos. Stop sending them to me about the guy who gets upset because he's actually a guy. He's a guy who's a transgender woman, presents himself as a woman, and he's upset that heterosexual men don't want to have sex with him. In fact, that has been a point of contention on whatever podcast. Well, you guys are just misogynist. You're just, what is it? Misogyny. You guys are just misogynists because you don't want to have sex with another dude. But they're not. They identify as sissies or whatever it is, right? They identify as trans women are women, right? But the guys have a guy say, "I don't want to get with that because that would make me homosexual." No, that's literally the definition of that. Like, so what I was thinking was when I was watching this, I'm going, so if I'm like a fat fuck, if I'm like 400 pounds, I'm just like rolls of fat. I should be able to expect a woman who is a hot piece of ass, like a Fitness America model, so to want to have just to like ooze, like just uncontrollable, visceral animal lust over me. That's what I should be able to expect. Because that's me. It's all what's on the inside that counts. I should be able to have green teeth, like spirulina or some shit on your teeth. I should be able to have green teeth, right? And expect women to want to get after it with me, or my breath can smell however they want. Why would personal hygiene be of any consequence to women when it comes to attraction and arousal? I identify as somebody who has a good body odor, so you should want to get with me. You put it in those terms, because I hear guys do this all the time. Like, well, by that logic, if I'm a broke ass fat guy with no game and I identify as Andrew Tate, you should want to have sex with me, right? That's the same as saying, well, you should want to have sex with a trans man, woman, whatever, a guy with a dinger, right? No, it doesn't make any sense at all. But if you put it in the terms of, like, even do something subtle and say, like, well, I think I'm going to stain my teeth green because it's very attractive to me. I like my teeth green. I think I look better with green teeth. And so since I'm a guy with green teeth, you should want to get after it with me. Ew, no. Or if I have I have some sort of like facial mutilation. I look like Two-Face from Batman. You should want to get with me. I'm good looking on this side, but I'm really horribly disfigured on the other. Shouldn't matter. It's what's on the inside that counts, right? Indian YouTubers are blue-pilled as fuck. Yes, I realize that. Thank you. I am saying this as an Indian. I've talked about this before. Both left and right are super Captain Save-A-Hose. Yeah, they are. You are correct. I have said in the past that I would very much like to do collabs, but I would certainly like to do a program or a series of videos or something just specifically for Asian and Indian men. But I am neither one of those, so I would have to do a lot of homework. Only trust red pillars with Bill Logic rather than moral. Got you. Okay, got you. I do my best to read all of my supers. What's this crap about sex before marriage being a sin? You tell me, man. I just work here. Okay, good enough. Let's move on. We're doing Shapiro, right? Yeah. Okay. So here's the next Shapiro.
Very creepy if a person glances at you when you wear spray painted ass clothes.
This creepy old guy at the gym kept coming over and staring at me. So I told my husband, and he came.
You're going to make me spit my coffee up. Spray painted ass clothes. Thank you. Well, at least we can credit Ben Shapiro with spray painted ass clothes.
Over and worked out next to me. Even after he came over, he continued to stare. I decided to stop working out and stare back.
Okay, let me halt it right here. This is one of probably hundreds now. It used to be dozens. That's probably like, this is very popular on TikTok because they know it's a built-in scam. It's going to work. You're going to go, if you look like this, you put on spray painted ass clothes and you look like CJ Sparks, or you look like, I don't know, any of the girls we have on Access Vegas. Love you, CJ. You're probably going to get attention. That's what they want. That's what this whole goddamn thing is about. So to actually do, like I'm doing a reaction of Ben Shapiro doing a reaction of this. So she's basically owning all of us, and I will be the first one to say she is. But this, I've seen Jedediah Bila do breakdowns like this. I've seen Michael Knowles. I've seen, in fact, he did one not too long ago. Matt Walsh has done these. They know it's a scam. They know this is a revenue generating TikTok-y garbage heap. It's a dumpster fire. But they're more than willing to jump on board because they want to be part of the Manosphere.
I attempted to do my set.
Okay. Listen to the voice. This is not the voice of the chick. This is a generated voice that is reading the text. Like you type in the text, it's basically text to voice. Oh, I want this chick, Siri, whatever it is, like the Susie, the white waspy girl voice. And then they choose that one, and that's the one they go with.
Then I got fed up and went over and addressed him.
Congratulations. You are a red pill man spinning plates. You know, damn well. Look, you notice here, she goes off camera. Do you think she actually did that? Do you think she actually talked to this dude?
Hey, here she goes. She's going to go over and address this guy.
No, she's not. She's just going off camera.
Again, you saw in this video him for a grand total of like 3 seconds, maybe?
Almost like a scam. Almost like it was set up that way, huh, Ben?
Told him if he's gonna work out in this corner, he needed to stop staring and making me uncomfortable.
Yeah, except you don't actually see that conversation happen, Ben.
You are filming yourself at the gym to do this.
Yes, because it's a revenue generating scam that girls on TikTok have been doing really for about the last 3 or 4 months. Probably more than that. I'm probably wrong. Rollo doesn't keep up. Yeah, I am probably wrong. At least I've been aware of it for at least 6 months.
And this has become a way of grabbing sort of victimhood, but okay, one, you could
grabbing victimhood, but no, they're not grabbing any butt here. In fact, if they did, that would probably actually go viral. Oh, let him
theoretically have separate gyms.
Okay, so the reason why I brought this up is because like here, this is Ben Shapiro's like overreaction, right? Well, we should just have separate gyms. Chicks should just go over here and women. That's why they have curves. Ben, you want to know why curves was invented? Like the gym curve in the United States. I don't know if they have it in your country, but do they still have curves, or is it now Planet Fitness? Sorry. It's where I can be comfortable and I don't have to worry about guys looking at me. Well, if that chick didn't want anybody looking at her, she wouldn't be wearing sprayed on ass pants. Yoga pants, right? I don't know about you, but I have not seen too many. And I'm in Vegas and I see, at the gym or whatever, there's still some good looking girls there. And so there's some girls that will go there and wear the occasional thing. But the average chick that goes to the gym is not they're wearing sweats, man. They're wearing something. It might be tight, but it ain't like that. You got to remember, 75% of the U.S. population is overweight and 40% of women in the United States are morbidly obese. Do you think the average woman is going in there with sprayed on ass pants? I don't. And if they are, they're waiting and if they're going to the gym at all because they're self-conscious, they're going to the classes. They're going to Zumba or whatever it is, something fit, Zumba fit, Zumba size, cardio. Do they still do cardio kickboxing? Maybe they do. Cardio kickboxing, Pilates. That's what they're doing. They're not there like doing squats with did you see this? Did you see she's got this one dumbbell and she's doing dumbbell squats. My wife could do way more weight than, what does she have? Like 20 pounds right there. It's a scam. The whole thing is a scam. It's not about like separate gyms, dude. It's about the TikTok generation. It's about generating content. That's content. And you're making content off of her making content. That's what's going on here. This is not like some raging, problem that's going on in society. Is it true that weirdo gay lube oil was turned down from 21Con for being a spurg? I don't know. You'd have to go ask the other spurg who runs 21Con for that information. I have no earthly idea. I know what you're talking about. He's still salty about it to this day. About time he got called out. Well, congratulations, XX. You just did. I don't know anything about it. So not anymore anyways. I've not heard. That's a name I have not heard in a very long time. Elena's Barre. Am I saying your name right, Elena? Elena's bare ass. We'll just go with that. Okay, so that's the next. Where's the other one? That's not it. Is this it? This is it.
In a TikTok storm of viral videos about women complaining about men looking at them at the gym.
Feral. Do you need something?
They know that's going to happen. They go there to generate that content because it plays. If you go, like I remember the first girl that did this, because Jedediah, I love you, Jed, but you fell into this one. The girl that was the very first one, I want to say it was in last year. I want to say it was somewhere around like maybe October or November. There was a girl who went viral on TikTok for doing exactly the same thing. And look at all of he's, at least to his credit, he's picking up on all of this. But they know this. It's a scam. They don't care. There's nothing real to this. They don't even have the producers you do, and they know that it's not real. Okay. Every one of those girls, at least the first one anyways, they're on TikTok and they're playing to millions of subscribers. They're making money off of that content. Learn how the social media world works. Your producers sure as hell do. Oh, I can't believe it. We're going to have separate gyms. No. You know what we do? We kick those dumb bitches out of the gym and we go back to working out like men do. That's what we do, Ben Shapiro. You wouldn't know because you've never been in a fucking gym in your life. We're going to have separate gyms that I don't go to anyways.
This apparently is like a thing. It used to be that in order to be victimized in American society, you actually had to be a victim.
They don't care about being victims. It's not about victims. It's about content.
Shut up.
Now you're...
That little clip, do you think Ben Shapiro threw that in there? Or do you think his female producers put that in there?
a victim if you go to the gym dressed in booty shorts and a bra and men give you sideways glances.
Yeah, like that. Do you think that was like the girl that was on before? She goes off camera to tell off that guy that we never hear the conversation to. Why is Rollo Tomasi telling you this? Why are you not figuring this out on your own? You're full of shit. You're a fucking Muppet. You're a cartoon character. You believe this horse shit. Stop it. Stop it. Get help. Oh my God.
That apparently is like the height of victimhood. I agree that women are victimized if some guy puts his hands on them when they don't want to have their hands put on them.
Oh, well, at least we played the moral card, and that's, well, hard to argue with that there.
Obviously. I'll agree that women are victimized.
Where? When? How? By what? By going into the gym and being looked at? By going to the club and being looked at? By going to the beach and being looked at? By going on Instagram and being looked at? By starting an OnlyFans and being looked at? By going on Fresh and Fit or whatever podcast for attention and to be looked at. And if you're on whatever podcast, you're probably wearing some goofy ass, Sailor Moon costume at the same time to be looked at. Come on, man. It's a fucking curve this high. We can get up over it, man. We can do this together. I'm going to help you up over the curb here, man. Stop it. You're creating content you're creating bullshit content off of other bullshit content. And here I am trying to tell you, I'm making bullshit content, trying to tell you about it. I shouldn't have to do this. This is why these guys don't belong in the Manosphere. They should not be on the show. That's why Michael Knowles should not be on the show. That's definitely why this asshat should not be on the show. Come on, man. Do better. Do better.
If men, without regard for the woman, just stare at them, or just stare for prolonged periods of time. But that's not what we're
because men are dogs and your female producers threw that in there.
Talking about here. What we are talking about is attractive women on TikTok who are seeking attention, which is why they are on TikTok.
No, they're trying to generate content that's going to go viral so they can make more money. And yes, it's also about attention.
Filming themselves at the gym wearing
just got a nice ass.
Extraordinarily tight.
If they're going to do this, I'll be happy to go. I got nothing. What do I got to lose? That's nice. Are you in the squat rack? Because I was gonna get in there.
Next. Clothing and bare midriff, and then they are surprised that men are looking at them occasionally.
No, they're not surprised. They're hoping that happens while the camera's on. Because you know what they're going to do? The minute that it happens, they're going to go right back to their car in the parking lot and they're going to post it on TikTok or the Instagram or a YouTube reel in the hopes that an idiot like you will pick it up and actually amplify that stupid ass video to go viral.
I'm not a piece of meat.
Now, let's be real about this. This is how many dates in the United States and everywhere else have started.
Well, apparently not, because we're not supposed to do it like that. We're supposed to follow in your footsteps to have a healthy marriage and dating life. If that's the case, you fucked up, Ben, because something tells me you probably didn't meet your girlfriend or your wife, whatever, in the gym. And more likely than not, she was not wearing booty shorts and a freaking, yoga pants either. You're making content. I'm goofing on this for a reason. I hope you guys are entertained by this, but there is actually a valid point to all of this. Those girls are doing those things because it's content. You live in the clout economy now. And by even addressing this and having, oh, my stars and garters, girls are putting on tight pants. Did you? maybe some of you guys didn't live in the 80s, but like if you did, whoever thought Birkenstocks was an improvement over like high heels, you got no business being at a concert, man. You know, if you think that like wearing like, you know, flannel and everything is better than like wearing lingerie to like a good like metal show or something, you got no business being there. Just throwing that out there. But shit was different then, and it's different now. And this guy is like, it's fake outrage by the women who are making these videos, and it's fake outrage on his part to be offended by the girls who think they're offended and they're victims. It's not about victims. It's about content. Cut the shit, please. Thank you. Yeah, he is. He's dipping his toes in the manosphere because he knows that material plays. And by the way, if you go and you look at those videos, like I think it was not the one with Myron Fresh, but the previous one where he's talking about that's 7 million views on that short. Let that sink in. 7 million views on content made on other content. And it's basically what I've called. I can show you the essay I wrote. It's called Outrage Brokers, and that's all these guys are outrage brokers. All right, let's get rid of Ben. We'll come back to him later on. But Ben is a Muppet. Ben is a cartoon character, as you can see, and Ben has no real reason to be in. It's just outrage bait. That's what plays to this audience, I should say. You guys from Turning Point USA, all you Zoomers and you like late blooming millennials who are like think you're like hip because you go to Turning Point USA and you watch Michael Knowles speak about like how bitches ain't nothing but tricks and hoes, but because Jesus and morality and God said, then yeah, you're also part of the problem too, because you're the one who like actually puts 7 million views on garbage like this. Just saying. Let's go here.
I feel all the problems of the hookup culture and the talking culture and all the problems you're describing are because there's so much uncertainty.
Okay, I don't know what talking culture is, but hookup culture is bullshit. There is no hookup culture, at least not for 80, maybe 90% of guys. There is no hookup culture.
And nobody has any idea what the hell anybody's supposed to do because there are no standards and there are no norms. We don't even know what a man is and what a woman is anymore. And we don't even see depictions of this.
No, we do. But the fact that you're using this as a point or a topic, no, we do know what a man is. We do know what a woman is. All that bullshit that Matt Walsh did, that whole document, what is a woman? That's outrage bait. That's outrage brokership is what it is. He didn't go on, Matt Walsh did not go on Dr. Phil to go argue with the bearded lady because he wanted a real answer. He wanted content. That's why. Everybody, if people are on shows or they're on TikTok, me too, by the way, mea culpa, me as well. If they are on and you're watching this right now, I'm producing content. They're producing content and they're talking about other people who are producing content. That's what this all is all about. The long and the short of it is this, like, it's just like when Hotep Jesus says, everyone you know, me too, everyone you know, you're watching this stuff, they're grifters. I'm a grifter. Those guys are grifters. Brian's a grifter. Myron Fresh are grifters. Everyone you know, everyone you follow is a grifter. The difference is this, which one gives something back? If you're going to take, grifters, take. What you really want to know is, what is that guy giving back to you? I think I give back quite a bit more than most people do. But if all you're doing is making content based on other people's content and you're trying to pass that off as being sort of the predominant narrative of like the zeitgeist of this era, then you need to like look at the fact. I think people would really do really well if you watch Red Pill content. And people always say, Rollo, you should just be able to take what you need from the red pill and move on. If you're going to say that to me, then you got no business talking about grifting. You got no business talking about social issues. You got no business talking about trans girl or what is a woman. You got no business because all you're doing is you're taking what you need and you're moving on. That's the problem. Nobody does that. And nobody ever will do that. They will stay there and they will keep getting fed over and over and over again. The problem is not the fact that they're consuming that material over and over again. It's that they don't do it with any kind of critical thinking. They don't do it with any kind of lens. They don't have a red pill lens. Or if they do have a red pill lens, it's what is sort of like that it's not giving them, they're not thinking about it in terms of how are people profiting off of this message? Because everything you see is content. All of them, me too. Mea culpa, I do content as well. My books are content. My videos are content. So is everybody else's. The difference is, what is that person giving back? What has that person achieved? How is that respectable? How am I respectable versus how is Myron respectable? How am I respectable versus how this guy? What have these guys done that is worthy of your respect? That is worthy of your time to watch? Because most people, you want to know why people go, oh, well, you should just watch a little bit of this red pill stuff. You get what you need and leave. The problem with that is people don't have that kind of attention span. They're watching 30-second buzz clips and they're moving on to the next one. And until they see some other girl in a gym and some outrage video where she's, with her ass hanging out and some guy's like staring at her and she's like, oh my God, I can't believe you would look at me. That right there, you know what's going to happen? The guys who are like, well, I took what I need and I left, they're going to see that video and they're going to go, bro, I can't believe, can you believe this? Send. Yeah, dude, I believe it because you know what? 30 other guys have just sent that to me in my DMs. Look at it from the perspective of that it is content that is being created. Like that's simple, the simple filter. This is content. What is this content creator trying to convince me of? What am I supposed to think about this? If you can ask yourself just the minimum level of critical thinking, you'll see just how cartoonish these guys are.
That we can emulate. And so I think, we're all complaining here, well, I'm not, about how we don't want things to be black and white. But if things were a little more black and white, if we had clarity on some of these issues, then you wouldn't be getting into marriage like Brian is, worried, is this woman going to take my kids and half my stuff?
You should go to another country. It's much more black and white.
It is, I know.
Yeah.
Should all just be passport bros, right? She just made the case for passport bros. Why don't we have a conversation about that? Right? Is Brian getting married? Or maybe he wants to get married. I don't blame people for wanting to get married. I just don't think it's a good idea today. I mean, the way we do it now. I do understand the desire, though. But again, it's not what Michael Knowles is saying is not necessarily wrong. It's just his grift. He's bringing his grift to that platform. And and who's making the most money off of that? Well, clearly Brian is, because if you go to look at the clips and you look at the super chats, and he made close to like almost $6,000 off of just the super chats. I believe he topped that at 56 and change, maybe close to 6 though. And probably with ad revenue, it's probably at least that. Nobody watches 5-hour pod. Nobody goes, well, this podcast happened like 3 months ago and it's 5 hours long. I got the time. Nobody does that, dude. But you can repurpose all that stuff as clips. Again, part of the grift. Let's go. Did I put him in
a TikTok storm?
We already did that. Sorry, that was Ben. Ben can get out of here. Where's my other Michael Knowles? Oh, here it was. I thought this was good because this is sort of the clash of the titans here. Let's go with
is the idea that men and women are identical and indiscernible for all practical purposes.
Stop. Now, point. Counterpoint.
You don't teach men to protect women, you get men who will victimize women.
Okay. Next.
Than complementary, which was the traditional understanding of sexual difference. I have to reject a couple of your premises. One, that college students
insert goofy joke.
Work hard and study. That was never my experience. 2, that college is an unpleasant experience. I found it to be very fun. And 3, that women were these ignorant, docile, uneducated creatures.
Okay.
Teach women that they ought to cherish men who are responsible and good. All you end up doing is incentivizing bad male behavior.
Okay, so you see the difference here in tone and delivery and message as well. These are both guys that are, Shapiro owns at least half of Daily Wire, but they're both personalities on Daily Wire, okay? Look at the difference here. Let's continue with Michael Knowles.
And basically worthless before feminism. I think that's so absurd. It's obviously very offensive, but it just isn't true. I think women were much better educated before feminism.
That's interesting to me because just a moment ago, he's talking about how we need to be more judgmental. He was the one who was saying, we kind of fuck things up and we got to be more harsh on women. But yet when he's presented with the feminist question in front of an audience, he's very apologist. He's very much an apologist in that he approaches it differently in the sense that he tries to build women up from the sense that you're not really as dumb as feminists want you to believe you are, ladies. You're actually, we're already empowered. You were already empowered. You didn't be empowered any more than you already were prior to the sexual revolution. No, it's apologetics. And here, but he approaches it from a female side, whereas Ben approaches it from...
Feminist movement was not wrong when they said men are acting like pigs. They were wrong when they said women also ought to act like pigs.
Okay, so he's very nihilistic and very negative and very down on guys. So you have Ben Shapiro apologizing for men being pigs, but it's also, well, women need to be pigs too, so they're just as bad as men. We've tried to level the playing field by making women just as piggish as men are. Like, remember when I told Jedediah Bila this? I said, and I will say, I've said this on several occasions, but most recently on Jed's show. If you were born after 1965, you're a feminist. Ben Shapiro is a fucking feminist. So is Michael Knowles, just in a different, his delivery is just different. They're all feminists. Every last one of them are. They don't say, they would never, I don't identify as a feminist. What are you talking about? It's meaningless. This is the 21st century, guys. That's 20th century thinking. Oh, I don't identify. Yeah, it doesn't make any difference in the 21st century. No one cares. The very fact that this is like where his mind goes when he's trying to like define what feminism is about. The very fact that his mind goes to, well, men are pieces of shit anyways, but we've kind of brought women down to our level of being pieces of shit. They're just as much a piece of shit as we are. Like that, to me, that's feminism. He says, feminist. The feminist movement has some truth, right? No, it doesn't. It's a hate movement. It has been for a long time. There are no waves of feminism. It is the same message it's been since, Seneca Falls in 1849, right? I believe it's 49. 1850. Let's round it off. 1849 up to the time that women got the right to vote in 1920. 70 years. Same thing. They were terrorists. They bombed churches. They bombed police precincts. They planned assassinations. There, go read. There's a book called The Feminist Bombers or Suffragette Bombers. They were considered terrorists at that time, and they still are today. It's just in a different formula, and they've succeeded because of idiots like this. Because what happens here is you get a guy who is like pretentious fuck, like Ben Shapiro, who wants to get all moralistic about shit, and then say, well, feminism sucks and it's bad for us, but it's because men's fault. Men are the ones that we're pigs anyways, and we brought women down to our level of piggishness. That's apologetics is what that is. And you know where that comes from? It comes from a mind that has been molded by feminism. Understand? Now do you get it? Mine too, yours too. If you were born after 1965, your teachers, your popular media, your girlfriends, your wives, your aunts, your nieces, your sisters, your daughters, your teachers, which by the way are 77% likely to be female to begin with. All of that. Even if you say I'm anti-feminist, doesn't matter. If I go and I say, well, do you think women should have the same rights as men? Well, yeah, they should, but I don't think that feminism is a good idea, blah, 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 blah. So it's never been about equality. It's only been about retribution and restitution. You ever got, again, guys, Mike Knowles, Ben Shapiro, come to Vegas, sit across the table from me. I will put this, rub this right in your face. There are no waves of feminism. You're full of shit. Women have to bear some responsibility for this. And I will be the first one to rub your noses in that. You guys are feminists as much as any feminist is. You just don't see it. You just deliver it differently.
This is a solution to our problem. Because now what's happened is they got rid of all the traditional mores about how sex ought to be connected with love and not to be connected with relationships. They got rid of all of that. It was just a bodily function now. Except when it comes to actual sexual assault, we treat that differently.
Well, which of course is what the way men view it, right? Because we can separate the emotion. Men have no problem separating emotion from the sex act. That's why pornography is what it is. You don't have to convince men to jerk off. We can do it. We don't feel bad about it either. Oh, I can't believe I have an addiction. Okay, well, that's because we have an easier time getting it now. Pornography's been around for a very long time, okay? Just in one form or another. The context in the media is different, but the urge hasn't changed, okay? Now, is it more pronounced than it was back in the day? Yeah, it is, because we've made it, we've industrialized it. We've commodified it. We made it very, very easy. It's just like going down and getting a burrito supreme from Taco Bell. Oh, and a jerk off. Okay, what's on? Pornhub. But what he's saying here is that, oh, well, we brought women down to that level too. And men are pieces of shit. And the reason why feminism is what it is today is because men are pieces of shit. We've made women pieces of shit too. Oh, it's because of moral decay. Well, that's easy to talk. That's a very easy rationale. But the fact of the matter is that historically, from the time of the sexual revolution, we have systematically disadvantaged men to advantage women, to find some way for equality, or ostensibly about equality. The only way we can achieve equality is to disadvantage men. We've done that so effectively that now we've got guys who are apologizing for men being pieces of shit, but they still can't ignore the fact that feminism has just sort of ruined not only society, not only economics, not only the family and everything else, but he wants to turn around and blame and say, well, ladies, it's not your fault. It's our fault that you're pieces of shit.
Than any other bodily function, obviously. But that's the problem, right? So they create the standard where sex is basically a throwaway item, sort of like eating. And then we treat...
Sound like guys who can, guys got to rub one out. I think it was my good friend, where is it?
Stump that bitch.
Tom Likas, right? Tom Likas said, men, for sex is like taking a piss, right? You would like to take a piss at the Wynn, the MGM Grand, with gold faucets and a beautiful, clean, gorgeous, bowl and a bidet to wash your ass afterwards. And you would love to have a gold-plated toilet to go and take a piss in. That's awesome. Any guy would want that, right? But if you got to go, a dirty gas station with, a slimy toilet is just as good as the function is the function. But if you're going to make those qualifications there, for guys, it's a bodily function. I keep trying to stress the fact that men need sex. Women need sex too. It's a need. It's a physical need. It's a human need. We need to have sex. It's just like eating, breathing, drinking, oxygen. It is. Because if you don't, you go extinct. Now you can extrapolate that and say, well, you don't need to have all that. Well, you don't need to have sex from a survival perspective, but you do need it if you are going to reproduce, which is also a part of being human.
Treat sex very differently when it comes to what we all know it is, which is a deeply important and intimate part of a person's life.
I think it just kind of depends on the person and where they're at, right? Should it be? Yes. Does it always have to be? No. And women will agree with that just as much as guys will. It has nothing to do with feminism. Okay. Feminism didn't change the human machine, Ben Shapiro. It was always like that. Let's see. I want to get to Brett, but I'm going to do her last. Let's do
a quick montage of some right of center media figures and podcasters sharing their criticisms.
He was just being mean.
Well, I was going to say, what he is saying is actually genuine.
Okay, this is going to be one rare occasion that I will agree with Matt Walsh.
Really mean. Parts of it, the whole thing is true. It's not like it's untrue.
I will.
Okay, so that was Jeremy from The Quartering and Sydney Watson, formerly of The Blaze, very formerly. And also, You Are Here. I've met her. I like her quite a bit. I think she's got her shit together. However,
absolutely say, yeah, it's mean. Yeah, Matt Walsh is being mean.
Major divide on this video.
This is Amala. I don't remember what her last name is, but she has a show on PragerU.
Is whether or not the language.
Another cartoon character that has been on whatever podcast, by the way.
Was a little too harsh.
Factually, he's not wrong.
No.
Factually.
Yeah.
These guys, is it like this? Forget what they have a particular name. They're out of the UK. I've seen them do like interviews and stuff like that, and I am drawing a blank on the name. Somebody will give it to me.
I don't look. If your job is to win hearts and minds, I don't think this is the best way of doing it.
Okay. My job is not to win hearts and minds. My job is to educate. And I think Matt Walsh is making a bigger deal out of this because it helps his brand by doing this. Now, this was a few months back when Matt Walsh was talking about, I think he was coming at the trans community. And this is when you go a little too far. This is the reason I brought this up is because now you've got a Muppet who is Matt Walsh, and he goes a little too far for the rest of the Muppets.
You'll notice the connecting thread. They all agree that I'm right, that what I said is factually correct. So they think that it goes too far by saying it out loud. Well, see,
welcome to my world, Matt. Now you know why you won't have me on your show. And now you know why the rest of these schmucks won't have me on their show. Because they think I go too far. You want to know why Chris Williamson won't have me on his show? Because he's afraid he'll lose half of his audience. What are you talking about, Rollo? No, go look at his, what is it? When he got 500,000 or 100,000? It might have been the 100,000. He does these like milestone shows where he does finally like, lowers himself to like do Q&As. And what's the first thing anybody asks on those Q&As? When are you going to have Rollo on the show? And I think it was on his 100,000, because he did one at 100,000. He did one at 500,000. I think when he gets to 1 million, he'll probably do another one. But at the 100,000 level, people like, and thank you, by the way, Pat Stedman's Polish Passport, because he went and like did probably like 2 or 3 different super chats to get my name into Chris Williamson's mouth. And he actually was forced to acknowledge me just for a brief moment, because everyone said, by the way, keep the pressure up. I would still love to have Chris Williamson on. You know what? I don't even have to go on his show. I don't care. Come to Vegas, dude. You come to Vegas all the time. In fact, you do, you do psilocybin and mushrooms here in Vegas. I know that from watching your Instagram. So come on, I don't have any mushrooms, but like, I'm sure maybe you can find someone here in Vegas. I don't know where you'd even look, but I'm not into, psychoactives now anymore. Like not since I was 19. Come on out, bro. And we'll have a very interesting conversation. But the reason why he won't have me on the show is because his words, not mine. He was concerned that I'm gleeful in presenting truth, just like I'm too mean. I'm too over the top. If you want to change hearts and minds, you gotta put a little spoonful of sugar in there, Matt. They've been telling me that for freaking years. They've been telling me that since the Pat Campbell days. Pat Campbell told me that. You need to put a little bit of sugar coating on that pearl. That red pearl just needs a little bit of sweetener. Get the fuck out of here. The same thing with Chris Williamson. Like, I don't want to have Rollo on because he sounds gleeful. It sounds like he's really enjoying, like, poking the bear kind of thing. And I wouldn't want to lose half of my audience, meaning like he was concerned that, half of his audience being female would find some problem with me. Until a guy like Andrew Tate comes around, he's got more clout than I do, and now suddenly he's okay with bringing up Tate's name and not really worried about losing half his audience. That's the difference between a grifter who gives something back and a grifter who takes and takes and takes. Chris Williamson, you're a grifter, and you take and take and take. You don't give anything value back to the people who watch you. If you did, you'd be more interested in actual objective empirical truth, regardless of how sugary the pill tastes. Same thing with Matt Walsh.
See, this is where we differ. I don't think it's possible to go too far by speaking truth. The truth is the truth. It is.
Yeah, maybe you want to bring that up with Chris Williamson and some of these schmucks that won't have me on.
What it is. Are we going to defend it, or are we going to conceal it? Are we going to embrace it, or are we going to hide from it? You can't have it both ways.
unless you're some of these podcasts that think you can, which I haven't seen him all. I shouldn't say. I don't want to put words in Matt Walsh's mouth, because that's a point where I kind of like understand what he's going through, right? Because you got Jeremy, and I like Jeremy from the Quartering, and I like Sydney, and I have a love-hate relationship with Tim Pool, but I'm not going to be on Tim Pool's show because I don't have 1 million subs, and I don't have the kind of clout that other people have, even though I'd go on there and I'd wreck that place. First thing I'd out of my mouth would be, hey, where's Jack Murphy? Is this a seat that Jack Murphy sat in? That's what I'd be doing as soon as I go to Tim Pool's. I'd be like, excuse me 1 moment here. This Jack Murphy sit here. All right. Now we can talk. That's what I would do. But that's the thing, is like when you look at like people who like, especially like Tim Pool's supposed to be about free speech. He's supposed to be, hey, we want to have people in here. We want to have like a conversation. Roll Tomasi, right? The only way to test the strength of an idea is in the crucible of open debate. Sometimes it's a hot fucking kitchen. And Matt Walsh is finding out that the people who he thought had his back don't have his back. because they want to please just give it to us. Don't make the needle hurt going in the arm. Please put some sugar on the pill. And please sweeten up the cereal because it's bitter and I don't like it. What do you got? Hi, I just want to thank you. Why am I beta male and the desire dynamic? Thank you. The essay utility of beta male. Good stuff. You're welcome, YOLO, who is a regular on this show. The reason why Ben and JDP, I think you mean JBP, say that men should marry young and virgin, while statistics clearly say it works better only for women, is because there are 2 women in each one of their marriages. Oh, yeah. Yes, there are. I got it. I understood that reference. What else do we got here? Man, you guys are doing pretty good. We've been holding at about 850 for a while now. I'm glad I got good audience retention today. One Man's Chorus. Ben wrote an article about the time a group of bullies really tied him up and whipped him with a belt. Good times. I can believe that he was tied up and whipped. Ben has definitely spent quality time with some rabbis. Come on now, man. You don't have to go that far. I like my rabbis. I like my Jewish brothers. People think I'm weird about that. I should probably talk about like my Hasidic friends at some point. TradCon will. Oh my gosh! What did Rollo just say? I'll explain. TradCons will always blame men because it's easiest thing to do and it's safe. Yes, it always is because they're feminists. Feminists do the same thing. Rollo, what do you mean? I don't identify as a feminist. Well, you certainly speak like one. You may not be a feminist, but you're wearing a feminist uniform. I dare a TradCon to attempt to hold women accountable. They won't. You know what they do, Wilcox? They'll go on other people's show because the format is already established. Can you imagine? I want you to stop. Imagine just for close your eyes. Imagine for one moment that Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, who else is Jordan Peterson? They all get together in a room and they go, guys, we need to do our own version of Fresh and Fit. Hey guys, we need to find some way to do a show where you get a bunch of girls around a show and we need to have them come on and we need to scold them for not living the right way. That would never, ever, but you got to remember that the people who are behind those shows, who are behind Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, certainly Jordan Peterson. We know Jordan Peterson because it's his daughter that runs that fucking show. And I don't know about Michael Knowles, but I will say if he's part of Daily Wire, most likely the production staff and the production team that work there, I would say a good, if not all of them, are female. And if they aren't, I would say the guys who are part of that production staff or part of the PR or part of the, hey, we're going to talk about this week. They're going to go and do the topics and everything. They have people, and those people are the problem. It's not even so. I can't even really blame it too much on Ben Shapiro because he's just going to go and talk about whatever the fuck he's going to talk about. He thinks that girls going to the gym and painting on their ass pants or whatever, he thinks that's real. He thinks that's real. No, he probably, I don't know if he does or doesn't, but he thinks that's real because the people on his staff say, this is what the kids are talking about. Let's talk about girls in yoga pants. TikTok. That's what the kids like. Hello, fellow kids. Get the fuck out of here. You don't believe that bullshit. That's why they're fucking cartoons. They're Muppets. That's why they don't believe this bullshit. The people who are doing the pulling the strings and writing the fucking copy for these guys. You want to know why Matt Walsh got into trouble? It's because he probably read the wrong script and it came out wrong. Well, I care about empirical truth, and if I don't care if it take it on the chin. I agree with him. It's like the same thing Jordan Peterson says, right? You got to risk being offensive to, speak the truth. Unfortunately, none of these guys actually follow that, at least until they get to the point where they can't. It's unavoidable. But that whole situation says more about Jeremy from the Quartering, more about Sydney, more about Tim Pool, more about the people. I forget whatever that guy, those podcasts, those Brit podcasts. Once again, what is it with the Brits? Other than Troy Francis, maybe James does. Why do you have a problem with that? Should that not he's just escalating? I've said this. You've heard me say this before. We need to be more judgmental. We need to punch people in the face. I don't mean physically, but I mean just like with facts. Why can't Rollo if you changed your tone, women would you'd win hearts and minds. I've literally heard people say that before. You'd probably get on Joe Rogan and Tim Pool if you would just like tone it down a little bit. I'm like, yeah, if I did that, I'm not educating. I'm toning it down because I'm concerned with what people think about it. And I don't give two shits about what people think about me. I don't give two shits. I'll tell you the thing. I can remember when people kept saying, Rollo, you need to write essays for an audience. Now, this is back in, when I was writing more on the blog. I'm on Substack now, but I don't write. I've never done this. In fact, this has been my charter of my existence as an author. I don't write for people. I write what I think I want to hear. And I wrote the book that I wanted to read, which was The Rational Male, but I didn't write for an audience. Fortunately, that's what resonated with people and still does to this day. But from the time I was writing on So Suave back in the forum days to when I was writing on my blog to when I was writing on social media to when I'm writing, I'll do Twitter threads every now and then too. I'm not writing so that I can get more subs. I'm not writing because, oh man, my followers are going down. I better write something spicy on Twitter. I don't make any money off it. You think I make money off of Twitter? I don't make money off of Twitter. It's nice to it's nice to be able to advertise on Twitter. I've got 145,000 followers on 49, something like that. Do you have any idea how long it took me to get 100,000 followers on Twitter? I've been a member of Twitter since 2012. That's how long it took. And then I look at like Cernovich or Zuby and these rest, and they're turned like 1 million followers on Twitter. Twitter doesn't really do it for me. It used to. I mean, I like it. I like it because I feel I can go on there and like I can just like raise hell if I want to. But I don't make money off of Twitter other than the fact that I can like pretty cheaply advertise my book, but that's about it. So when I'm writing, my policy is always I'm not writing for an audience. I'm writing like what I want to read or what I'm just like sorting my thoughts out. I put it out there. It resonates with people. And I'm trying to start a conversation because I write to educate. I don't write to entertain. I don't write for audience retention. I don't do this show for audience retention. You got to remember, I started this show with Pat Campbell back in the latter part of 2017 into 2018. Yeah, I was 2017. In November of 2017 is when I started doing his show. And then 2018, we started the show. And we started this show because we had so many people on his terrestrial radio show that says, we need to hear more from Rollo. And I'm like, well, I guess we should do a podcast. And that's what started the Rational Male podcast. And, but when we did that, it was in response to people wanting more engagement, not wanting to be like, yeah, dude, jazz hands from Rollo. There you go. That's going to be my new Aaron Clary gif. Jazz hands. I'm not an entertainer. I will never be an entertainer. If you want entertainment from Rollo Tomasi, you come watch Trial of Ascension on the next gig we're playing. That'll be your entertainment. I'll be happy to entertain you there. I'll be happy to entertain you on whenever I do a cameo appearance for whatever Kevin Savo's new film project is. That'll be Rollo Tomasi entertaining you. If I'm not specifically trying to entertain you, and I hope I am still entertaining, but I'm more trying to educate you rather than to entertain you. And sometimes you got to break some eggs, man. You got to risk being offensive to be an educator. So, I got to you, Wilcox. Thank you for that one, though. That was actually a pretty damn good one. Alice always complaining about something. There's your cap. Thanks, you caps lock hustler. Complaining about everything. He's just a complainer. I need a sound drop of what is it? Jim Carrey when he does like he's talking out of his ass, like he turns his ass over and it's like that's what I need. So somebody give me that. I need that as a sound drop for ass hats like this. Bro, you wouldn't do that shit. I told you, man. Will Smith, you want to come to Vegas? You want to give me shit? Dude, the door is open. Tell me when you want to be there. I will go and reserve it. You want to give me shit? Put your money where your mouth is, big guy. Rollo, you shouldn't address these guys who are haters. No, I love my haters. Are you kidding? I enjoy my haters. There are a lot of spurgs. There are a lot of guys on the spectrum. There are a lot of lot of really whack job guys. There's a lot of Spurgs that follow me, but you know what? My Spurgs. You Stu, I will defend them to the end. I love you guys. Give me shit. You don't you ever go over to anybody else and spurg out on them. You come right here. They wouldn't scold women. They would rather have a bunch of guys instead. That way they can tell them how to be better service leaders. Servant leaders. Yep. I'm glad you got to that point because I was just about to make that point, Glenn. If you got, let's see, Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, all the Muppets, all the male Muppets, you got them all together. Say, we're going to start a show. We're going to do just like whatever podcast. We're going to make a Fresh and Fit. They wouldn't have girls. They would have guys come in there and they would scold the guys. That would be a Muppet. That would be the Muppet Show. You are correct. You're absolutely 100% correct. And there's my girl. There's my girl.
Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all.
There you go. Wait. Yeah, I love you. I love you, girl. Tori, why don't you come to Vegas? You need to just live here. You know you do. You know it's true. Kate Middleton? No, KJ. To be fair, I know Candace has criticized other women for buying the feminist agenda, that they don't need no man, at least. Yeah, I've seen her do that too. But again, that's mouthing the words. So I know where you're going with that. Stormy Daniels' search on Pornhub surged this week. Jesus, Lord in heaven. Here. Okay. Wait, here.
Well, I'm a whore.
I needed to drop that one in. Okay, Tori, have you seen this chick? Have you seen this girl right here? Hold on.
As long as the human race exists, feminism will never be dead. There's something that we're always going to have to strive and work towards to make sure that there's equality.
So it's a never-ending, it's the treadmill, right? It's a Sisyphean task. The rock will never be pushed up over the lip of the hill of the pit, right? Right.
So feminism is not dead.
In 2023, men do not have more rights than women. We are equal on every front. And contrary to popular belief, there is not some gender wage pay gap. We are all paid the same amount of money. Usually the discrepancy is just in the types of jobs achieved. Just laying the groundwork here. But this idea that we have...
Okay, Pumpkin, let me stop you right there. Okay. No, there is actually a gender pay gap. It's just that it's not because of endemic sexism. It's because of the choices that men and women make when it comes to their careers and what they happen to study in school. That's really what it's about. But she's in essence, she's correct. But again, let's press for accuracy. Tori, are you Tori? Meet Brett. Brett, meet Tori. There you go. So, I hope you like your new laptop. So let's just pressing for accuracy. I actually kind of like this girl. She's a Muppet, but I kind of like this Muppet until I won't. But again, she's up to, I want to say, what is she at? 1.25 million. She's got at least the same market share as, at least from followers anyways, as Pearl. So, but is she about it or is she not about it? I don't know. I kind of like Brett. I like her delivery. She's young. She's chipper. She ain't no Torsia for sure. But anyways, so again, she's trying to pile on most of these shows, by the way. One thing you have to have noticed throughout all of these clips is one thing. Every last fucking one of these is doing reaction videos to Manospherian shows. Whatever podcasts, Myron and Fresh. Even when they're talking about chicks on TikTok, they're doing reaction videos to what? Manospherian topics. And I wanted to point this out before I can't let you guys go without, I've got 2 more videos. Just hang on. There's lots more content left. That's not exit language. But I'll be remiss if I let you guys go without pointing out the fact that every single one of these shorts or these reels are they on TikTok? Who knows? Any of this short form content, damn near the most successful ones. And if you go and you look at engagement, if you look at the numbers, if you look at their analytics, if you look at just the views, you go in there, they're talking about like, here's what the Democrats did this week in Congress. 8,000 views. Oh, Myron said that like women, like guys should like bang 50 women and at least have X amount of dollars in their account. And oh my gosh, that's the worst way to get married. And you need to get married because that's just what we're supposed to do as people because God said, right? That video, 600,000 views for a 30-second, 45-second clip. There is if you don't think that their people don't see those numbers, you are gravely mistaken. That's why they latch onto this shit. It plays better than the stuff that they built their entire fucking brands on. The Manosphere is better than your politics. It's better than your social issues. It's better than your ethno-nationalism. It plays better than your culture war. So what you're trying to do, these guys are trying to do, the Muppets, the cartoon characters, is they're trying to find some nice happy medium, some way to blend the two. But then you get Matt Walsh, who can't really make it work because it sounds so mean. Oh, it's so mean. It sounds like he's gleeful. Welcome to my fucking world, man. Well, yeah, say my fucking name, dude. I wonder how like Hafiz would react to some of this shit. I wonder how like Ruslan, God forbid, would react. Ruslan, you want to come do another video? Come out to Vegas. The door's open for you too. I wonder how do you square that circle? TradCon, how does that work? They want in. You want to know why Ruslan like kind of breaks protocol to come into the Manosphere? Because it plays. Go. All you have to do is go look at the view count. And we're talking about like 30-second, 45-second, like under 1 minute videos. Talk about some chicken sprayed on ass pants, 600,000 views. Talk about the new banking laws or some shit like whatever, you know. Talk about some like political thing. 8,000 people. But that's what they built their brands on. That with their politics, conservatism, TradCon stuff. Like guys, Matt, Ben, Michael, Brett, all you guys, Candace, who else? Andrew Clavin, Jordan Peterson, all you guys. Come on, bring it in here. Let me give you a little bit of hint here. We're better than you. We figured this shit out a long time ago. And you guys are just fucking Johnny-come-latelys. You're the dudes who just got your way into the party, man. So I don't know who let you in. What bouncer let you past the velvet rope? You want to be in here because you know that that's where the people are. It plays better than what you think was supposed to build your brand. And God bless her. I love Jedediah and I love Adam Sosnick. I even have some respect, professional respect for Pat PBD. But let's be honest. Your brands are not built on your social issues. Your brands have not been built on, culture war shit. Your brands have not been built on politics. Your brands have not been built on Trump. Your brands have not been built on whoever's running on the conservative Republican ticket. It's been built on this fucking format. Admit it. Finally fucking admit it. Jedediah Bila is at 188,000. I love her to death. Don't get me wrong. This is not a burn. But she was doing political commentary before this. She was on The View. She was on The View for she filled in for Meghan McCain as the token conservative on there. I would argue that she has a more successful brand as Jedediah Bila on Valuetainment as a result of getting into the Manosphere than she would ever have had she kept sticking to the same format that she had on The View. Again, I love her to death, but let's just be honest here. The reason why these guys even find an audience is because they start talking shit on whatever podcast, Purple Pill podcast, Myron, if they can go on Myron and Fresh. We own this fucking niche. And you guys are just coming in here thinking we're gonna add some moralism and clean up the red pill. We're gonna sanitize this. Do you have any idea how many times I've seen that happen? I've been in this for 20 years. I saw that happen in 2012. Hey, we're gonna call ask Candace Owens. Anybody I forget what that chick was. Who you're saying you've seen Candace Owens talk about like feminist stuff. If you ever see Candace Owens, ask her what her name was on Twitter before she became Candace. It was Red Pill Black. They wanted in. They saw it. They think that the red pill means alt-right. They think that red pill means traditionalism. They think the red pill means conservatism. They think the red pill means ethno-nationalism. They think it means culture war. They think it means woke versus based. No, it doesn't. It's about intersexual dynamics. That's it. Anything else is whatever you're adding to that. That's what it needs to boil down to. And that's why I'm a red pill purist, man. No sugar on my red pill. Nope. It's going down rough. But I love you, Brett.
We still have to fight for equality, and forever we're going to have to be fighting against the patriarchy. No, we won that years ago.
No, you didn't. You killed the patriarchy years ago.
Your fight against the patriarchy and for equality, it is made up in your own head so that you can have something to be whining about constantly, in my opinion.
Okay, we talked about patriarchy. Let's throw this.
As a group, are working together to oppress women as a group, as a whole. Is that what the patriarchy is?
And the earth.
Is he smoking pot? Because like that's what I would do if I was smoking weed, and I'd be like in that bright ass room, and like your eyes would be bloodshot. And you don't want your high school, like, I don't know, chemistry teacher to know you were sparking up like at lunchtime.
When I say the patriarchy, I what I mean is this. It's beyond.
By the way, all these little add-ons here. Wait. I love that. Wait, I wish I could do that. I don't have like the folk. That's the producers. That's not Becky or excuse me, Brett. Becky, might as well. That's not her. That's the people. That's the people that she had. That's Daily Wire that's throwing this out. Notice also. Wait.
It's this.
Okay. Notice that all those clips. Matt Walsh gets these in his shorts. Certainly gets them in his shorts. Ben Shapiro gets them in his shorts. Michael Knowles. It's all these little clips of like jerky treats or. That's Daily Wire. That's the people behind the scenes. They're all the same character. They're just different presentations to it. Brett is more likable. Brett, come to Vegas. I will love to talk to you in Vegas. She's probably the only one that would. But that's producers. Those are the people behind the scenes going, wow, this Manosphere stuff is really great. It really plays really well. Look, here, we got 600,000 views on the Manosphere video short that we did, and we got only like 5,000 on this one that's talking about Trump and DeSantis and what's going on in Tennessee with the trans rights and stuff like that. That's only get 6,000. Fuck that. Let's talk about the patriarchy. Look, whatever podcast.
This internalized system of oppression, of domination that extends far beyond gender, far beyond race. It's this.
If you don't think that wasn't planned, I got a fucking freeway to sell you.
This energy of like hierarchy.
The energy is you telling yourself that you're a victim so that you can.
Okay, again, notice that we go back to the victim thing. They don't know anything else. That's not what patriarchy is about. It's not about her wanting to be a victim. It's about her being taught a system that by female teachers in a gynocentric social order that has been gradually, progressively escalating to where we are right now in our modern education academic system since the sexual revolution, since 1965. It's not about victim, although it might have started as victim. It's not about victimization anymore, although because you're tradcon and you don't know any other word besides victim, VICTIM. You don't know any other word. That's your go-to and your default. And you know what? You're also just mouthing the same words as every conservative that ever came before you because that's the only thing they knew too. It's the victim Olympics. No, it's not. It's because like patriarchy is actually a balanced system. If you go back to evolutionary perspective, here I'm going to go Mike Sartain on you for a minute. Evolutionarily speaking, in our ancestral past, patriarchy is the most logical, most balanced, most equitable way of organizing societies. What? No, it is. Because if you follow me on Substack, it's in fact, you can go get it for free. It's a free essay. My last Substack, I talk about the difference between androcentrism, gynocentrism, and patriarchy. And there's matriarchy too, but patriarchy because everybody hates patriarchy, right? Gynocentrism is this. It's a government. It's an organization. It could be government, a social organization. It's a way of organizing society that is by women for women. Feminism is just the control arm of that. It's just the act. It's just how it's done. But the purpose of it is gynocentrism. It's gynocentric. It is female centric. Anything that promotes the female experience is good. and correct. Anything that does not or is counter to it is misogyny. That's the easiest way to go about it. It's not patriarchy. It's not, it's not guys being boys being boys. No, that's what it is it is a system that is about supremacism, female supremacism, feminism, female supremacism, gynocentrism, female supremacism. And in that case, it's the supremacy of the female experience. So anything that is beneficial to a female life experience or is more alike to that, or anything that aligns with the purpose of the female experience of life is good and correct. And anything that is counter to that is called misogyny or toxic masculinity, if you like that term better. But basically the same thing. You've already heard me talk about toxic masculinity. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. There is only masculinity and the aspects of it that align with a female purpose and that conflict with the female purpose. Anything that aligns with the female purpose is correct. Anything that conflicts with it is misogyny. Wait. It's, there it is. Misogyny. Misogyny. Got that clip. Thank you, whoever gave me that. Actually, I think it was Big Mo gave me that. Big Mo gave me this. Misogyny. There you go. It's misogyny. It's toxic. It's toxic masculinity. Anything that doesn't work for women is toxic. Unfortunately, the same masculinity that's, prompts guys to take stupid risks like set their snowmobile on fire or do like jackass videos is also the same masculinity that prompts the firefighter to rush into the burning building to save the baby so he doesn't die from smoke inhalation and gets burned to death. That risk taking is misogyny. It's misogyny. It's misogyny. It's misogyny if it doesn't work for women, and saving a baby works for women. Setting your snowmobile on fire is dangerous, and you're an idiot. You're a pig-headed. Men are dogs. Suddenly you agree with with Ben Shapiro. Men are idiots. They're pigs. They're horrible, piggish dogs. And we've just brought women down to our level. I can't believe it. Because they were so divine and pure before men came along and fucked everything up. Come on, man. It's misogyny. That's all. Misogyny.
Complain about things and feel good about yourself. That's the energy. There is the reason.
Okay, so the complaining part that she's getting into is talking about victims. That plays well with that particular audience, for the Turning Point USA Zoomer audience. But she's just repeating the same bullshit that's been going on since like the late 70s, early 80s. You want to go look at the moral majority and Jerry Falwell and the conservatives of the 80s and into the 90s. They said exactly the same bullshit. Tipper Gore, same shit. Tipper Gore, who was married to Al Gore, they used to be very conservative until they weren't. You look at the classic conservatives, like Reagan era conservatives, all the way up through George W. Bush in the early 2000s and stuff. Same thing. They're just mouthing the same bullshit. It's just they're just trying to apply it in a different way. It's not about victimization. It's about a misunderstanding of what patriarchy is. Patriarchy is a balanced system. In an ideal world, in an idealized sense, patriarchy works better than anything else because it takes into account responsibility and authority. So when we look at patriarchy, men had authority, yes. And could it be abused? Yes. Unidealistically, it could be abused. But it also, in a perfect world, in an idealized sense, you had responsibility that was commensurate with that authority. So it wasn't like, well, I've got a dick, and so therefore you're going to have to listen to what I say, bitch. The Bible says so. I'm Michael Knowles. You guys need to shape up. Like that's what women, like the girls on that was just talking about it here. That's what they think it is. Women think that patriarchy is androcentrism. So let's see if I can simplify this. We have said this before, that responsibility without authority is children, slavery. Right? It meets the definition. Responsibility, 100% responsibility, 0% authority. That is the definition of slavery. Now, if we reverse that, 100% authority and 0% responsibility, you know what that is? That's the definition of tyranny. So when you look at androcentrism and you look at gynocentrism, they are both states of 100% authority and 0% responsibility. Now, patriarchy is different. It balances authority with responsibility. You cannot affect the things that you're responsible for as a man. And as we know, men have a burden of performance. Men got to live up. We got to match up. We got to keep mama happy all the time. Okay, well, if that's the arrangement, then I got to have the authority so I can keep mama happy in the first fucking place. I got to be responsible for my kids. I got to be responsible for their health. I got to be responsible for my wife. I got to be responsible for Ned. I got to be responsible for my mother-in-law and my aging parents. I got to be responsible for this. I got to be responsible to my military commander. I got to be responsible to my boss. I got to be responsible to myself because I got to keep the business going. There's so many fucking responsibilities. And you know what? If I don't have the authority to affect that, I'm fucked. That's how it works. And that's the difference between gynocentrism and patriarchy. That's the difference between androcentrism and patriarchy. Patriarchy is responsibility with a commensurate authority. Androcentrism, it's 100% male authority. Suck my dick. Come on. Gynocentrism, same thing. It's tyranny. Gynocentrism meets the definition of tyranny. Androcentrism meets the definition of tyranny. Patriarchy is much more balanced. Now, do you think, I try to explain this as simplistically as I possibly can. There's actually a lot more to it. Go read the article I did. It's on my Substack. And which, by the way, well, where's the Substack? Go look in the description. It's right there. There's a link. Hey, Rolo, where's the original video? In the fucking description. Hey, Rolo was talking about Devil Mountain Coffee. How do I find in the description? All you got to do is click and just go down below the fold. You'll find it. Lots and lots of goodies down there. Hey, how do I get that song, a great song by Trial of Ascension? How do I get that great song by Giovanni Sanders in the outro? It's down there. Get the fucking link right there. But do you think that nice, succinct, concise description of the difference between patriarchy and gynocentrism and tyranny and all that good stuff, do you think that that's going to come out of Brett's mouth?
Why you can't define it, it's just because it doesn't exist.
I think of misogyny. I think of the hatred of women and men being on top.
I can't even focus on what she's saying because of the arm movements, the power around us from within and up and down. We build it. We don't. No, you're.
That's because you're a Muppet. Muppets do that. I guess I did too. Oh, Muppets. Oh, I got roll as a Muppet. Look down there. If you think I didn't do that on purpose, I did.
Distracting everybody from the fact that you're saying nothing.
Yeah, well, you're saying nothing too. Sorry, Brett, I love you. I really do. But at least, I have some hope for her. I have more hope for her than I do for the rest of these schmucks. But like, educate yourself. God, you're so young. Your mind is like so smooth. Your brain is smooth right now. So listen to what go. But Brett, here's my advice to you. Go read my Substack on the difference between androcentrism, gynocentrism, and patriarchy. And you will have a much different show. I'm going to make you a fucking millionaire if you're not already. Read my shit. Rip me off. I'm telling you, everybody else does. Go rip me off. If you had that would make for a way better show than, they all want to be victims. Tipper Gore said the same thing. What was it? Yertle the Turtle. I forget the guy's I'm trying to think of the guys who are like the speakers of the House in the conservative era. And they basically said the same thing you're saying because it's easy. And people, an eighth grader it's so simple. A caveman can figure it out. It's victim. No, it's not. It's because there's a fundamental difference between patriarchy and gynocentrism and androcentrism. But let's get rid of you. And last but not least,
constructs coming from that, like a high value woman is different to a high value man. Why are women held to a different standard than men? So I'm assuming that you're talking about like someone's body count, how many people they've slept with, what clothes they wear. Somebody's been watching these shows because they're very popular. Why is that such a focus for women, but not a focus for men at all?
Okay, let me stop you right there, chickadee. How old do you think she is? I wonder how old Brett is. She looks so young. Like I said, smooth brain. I can help you out here. Let me stop you right just before she says, I know what she's going to say, but we already watched it anyways. This guy's an idiot because he's an egalitarian. He's equalitarian. People go, what's equalitarian? What do you mean equalism? He believes in blank slate equalism. That's a word. That's a Roloism, by the way. I made up the word equalism. It's egalitarianism, really what it is. But it's like everything's equal. There is an equal and opposite reaction to every action. No, there's not, especially when it comes to gender dynamics. It's not. That's a double standard. Yeah, you're goddamn right. It's a double standard. because that's pretty much the nature of
Guilty.
Yes,
you're goddamn right.
Yes, that the whole thing when it comes down to a double standard. Guess what? There's more double standards for men than there are for women. But you're never going to hear it out of like Pretty Boy's mouth there, because those guys want a girl they can vibe with, and if they're vibing, they got to say, well, what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. And that's why I hate these shows, because they don't talk about women and they don't try to balance things out. They don't try to be nice. Like Matt Walsh was being real mean. Understand this. Jeremy from the Quartering, Sydney, Tim Pool, those Brit guys, they might as well be this Pretty Boy that she was just brought on here just a second ago, because they're buying into the same thing. Well, we know it's true, but can you tone it down? Can you like change your voice, like lower your decibel level?
It is a focus for men. That is where I have a problem with, I'm going to get ripped for this, but the Andrew Tate stuff. And I think that he has a purpose in this world. I think
mention Andrew Tate and then suddenly you're going to have 600,000 views.
That he has had like a lot of really great moments and, has sparked a lot of interesting conversations. But I don't like the double standard with women and men. Like I believe that a high value man is very similar to a high value woman, and that he has respected himself in the same way that I have.
No, dear. They are fundamentally different, because masculine and feminine complement each other. There's a polarity between men and women. They are different. They are not the same. That's what this guy was just saying. And now you're buying into the same bullshit. You're just trying to sell the same message he's saying, but from a conservative perspective. No, men and women are very different. We're different down to the cellular level. The sexual differences, the biological, gendered differences between men and women begin in the womb. It begins in the chemical cocktail for whether we're going to make a boy or a girl. I got tons, and there's all kinds of stats for that, all kinds of research, and it's all hard data. It's all quantitative data. It's nuts and bolts. It's ones and zeros. It is or isn't, male or it's female. You guys want to talk about transgenderism and you're a boy or a girl, blah, blah, blah. But here you are trying to say, well, men and women are the same. Well, what are they? Well, we're more alike than we're not. No, we're actually much more different. And until you understand that basic truth, you're still going to be talking shit about transgender this and that, because you buy into the horse shit that men and women are equals. We are not equals. We're complements to each other. Our strengths tend to, be complements to the weaknesses of the other. Definitely complementarian. I do buy into that, but not in the same way as tradcons do. I do from a biological sense. But what she's doing is agreeing with that guy. She's just trying to sort of find some common ground with him in a conservative sense. So let me let her finish.
I guess I can find common ground with that. I don't want a guy that's walking around half naked and is like slept with half the city.
Well, come on the show. Come on Access Vegas, and we will ask that question, because we've asked that question to the girls before. Does it matter to you if a guy's a virgin? Yes, it does. Absolutely. Pretty much every girl we've had on Access Vegas, and I would argue probably most of the ones that have been on Myron and Fresh and Fit, would say the same thing. They don't want a guy who's a virgin. They don't want a guy like the biggest compliment or the best thing. One of the qualities of a high quality guy or high value man is he knows his way around a woman's body. And the only way he gets that experience is if he's been rewarded with sex in the past. Ben Shapiro. Yes, that's why you need at least somewhat of a body count for yourself. I'm not saying you have to have a triple digit notch count. I mean, if you want to, fine. But like, you got to be, women want men who other men want to be and other women want to fuck. What does that's a maxim that I'm putting in in my new maxims book, right? Women want a man who other men want to be, status, right? Is he respectable? Is he somebody who other men want to be and he has earned their respect, or he's famous? He's somebody that other guys look up to. He's got high value, high status as a result of that. Other men go, man, I really wish I was Rollo Tomassi. Man, I really wish I was Leonardo DiCaprio. Man, I really wish I was insert the blank, right? Because that guy's got status. It's also representative of if you're well liked, of course, you've got status and people listen to you. You've got influence, you've got power. It's whatever. That's the attraction side of things. Okay. Attraction meaning like he'd be a good choice for, if you look at the balance between The guy that other men want to be and other women want to fuck, the guy that other men want to be, that's attraction. That's long term. He's likable. He's meets his burden of performance. He is generous. He is fun to be around. He's interesting. He has an interesting job. He loves his mama. He's good. He's a good long-term bet. He's good for protection, provisioning, and parental investment at the very least. That's the guy that other men want to be. Now, he also has to be the guy that other women want to fuck. He also has to have been rewarded by women who say, yeah, pre-selection, you want to fuck, you want to get with. Girl, you are so lucky to have that guy. Look at him. Look at him. He's Jason Momoa. He's Justin Waller. He's 6'3". He's got a V taper. He's got, 6-pack abs. He's got 10-inch dick. He's got jawline like, God knows whatever, right? He's hot. He's hot. And not hot as H-O-T. I mean hot, H-A-W-T. That's what he is. The guy that other women say, girl, if you're not fucking him, I am. That's the arousal side. Both of those, that balance of that equation is hypergamy, by the way. Alpha fucks, beta bucks. Beta bucks being the guy that other men want to be. Alpha fucks being the guy that other women want to bang. It's not rocket science. You just have to know something about the manosphere before you start dipping your toe into it. I will be happy to educate you, though, Brett. Just as I've educated women in the past, such as Elena Barry, whoever else is here, Torsha's a success story. She's a glowing success story. She's gone on to great things. She will, sooner or later. But I can do the same for you. I can help you. I'm trying to help you right now.
Just as like a guy wouldn't want a girl and saying that like, oh, it's only cheating if a woman does it, but not a man.
It doesn't work that way, dear. Because women generally don't care if a guy has a higher body count. They don't want to know about it. Every girl that we've asked, by the way, we've asked that question before. Would you be bothered by a guy who has a really high body count? Most of them aren't bothered by it. But the ones that are, you know why they're bothered by it? Because they're afraid that they might run into one of his exes at the club. They might run into an old bitch who's still got something going for him. That's the only reason they had a problem with it. It's I think it was Sterling Cooper said, one of the highest forms of DHV, demonstrating higher value, is knowing your way around a woman's body. Because if you can get her off and you can really turn her on by being a good lover, it means that you had to learn that somewhere. And probably with other women. That's why. For men, a woman with a high body count is a disadvantage because she's not a good bet for paternity. It's not because of status. It's not because of morality. It's not because, it's not because of.
Well, I'm a whore.
Men love sluts. They just want her to be his slut. They just want loyalty from them. They want that girl to be very sexually experimentative with him and just, be ride or die. And I mean that in the most literal sense. They don't have a problem. Most men don't care. Like most men want a slut. They just want her to be his slut. They want her to be like loyal to him and just like sexually like ready to rock. I'll do anything for you. So those are the words, ladies. If you're ever wondering, like, how do I keep a man say those words? Have those words come out of your mouth. I will do anything. Say that. Good to go. And,
Mr. Andrew Tate.
Okay, so she's out. Got to drop Tate in at the end there because if we don't get any views. There, see, I've talked to you about patriarchy. I've talked to you about body count. Talked to you about equalism today. Like you get all kinds. Look at the quality of this show. In fact, I'm going to even keep going and get to all these super chats really quick. Why was Daily Wire obsessed with whatever podcast when Fresh and Fit was doing the same thing 2 years ago and they never reacted to them? Well, they have, as you just saw a minute ago there, Funky Boy. Ben Shapiro will go and dig up like clips from over a year ago to respond to, because now somebody somewhere in the Daily Wire, probably one of the production staff said, Ben, you really need, whatever podcast is great, but you really need to go and hit hard at the guys in Fresh and Fit. They're very complimentary to whatever podcast. I think it's because Brian is sort of like the safe bet. It's a similar format. And I think, and people say, well, it's because he's white. Well, okay, maybe. And he sources his girls from UCSB. So they're coming straight out of like college, which is like the indoctrination camp for, liberal feminist, ideology. And so to have Michael Knowles go on there or Amala or whoever else go on there and go, you girls aren't living right. That, by the way, that format is, trust me, by August, everyone will have hit on that because that's what we'll play. You'll have this moralist on that this moralistic guy on there or girl. You ladies aren't living, or no, here, I love you, Jed. I love you, Jed. But whenever Jed goes, nasty, that plays. Whenever you go, nasty, I need a sound drop. Here's your assignment. Here is your homework. Sound drop, hustlers. I need a sound drop. I'll do it myself if you guys don't, but I need a sound drop of Jedediah Bila going, that's nasty, or just nasty like that. I need the nasty sound drop because she says it so often. I love it every time she does. But the nasty, that's what I'm talking. That's going to be what plays come August. Because what's going to happen is you're going to see the culture war narrative is going to ramp up, and they need a springboard to get up to where they need to ramp it up to. And that's going to be on shows like whatever podcast. Brian, you're perfectly positioned. You're in the right place, right niche, right time. You just need a co-host, and not me. You're the bad cop. You need a good cop. You need somebody else who's a little bit more personal and has a better delivery. I like Brian, but he's a little dry. Just saying. You're gonna be an entertainer. You're gonna need a co-host. Yeah, I love you. I'm giving you constructive criticism. I'm not trying to be a dick. Let's see. Oh, that's why Myron and Fresh work so well. Fresh is good cop. Myron's bad cop. I mean, for lack of a better term. Really reminds me of a woman. Oh, what? Your mom? Because your mom talks like that? Tomasi. Oh, Katie. There you are, Kate. Kate, are you a success story, Kate? I don't know. Are you actually a chick? You probably are. If you got that as your icon, you probably are. A lot of these guys seem to be ignorant to the negative impact of feminism. The negative impact feminism has had on men's desires to man up, as they say. Well, you know what, Kate? Here's the problem. You can't tell men to man up when you've told them to man down for the last 60 years. It's a little tough. Yeah, now we're in a different age and a different generation. The fact that Michael Knowles was surprised when he heard the girls talk at the Whatever podcast lets you know he knows nothing about modern dating and knows nothing also about the Manosphere, because he's a cartoon character who's there just to turn a buck. Rollo, all I say it's all about clicks and views because it's what's trending in the YouTube algorithm. Let's face it. Yeah, you are correct, Black Sigma. The Manosphere is nothing but an industrial entity rather than a movement. It's not a movement. It's never should be a movement. You will never hear those words come out of my mouth. And if anything, I will say the exact opposite. I have heard Adam Sosnick say the Red Pill movement. No, stop. I will catch you every time you say the Red Pill movement or the Manosphere movement or this movement or that movement. It is not a movement. It's not a movement implies ideology. A movement implies organization. A movement implies a narrative. A movement needs an army. I would love to lead your army. I'll be happy to be a cult leader for you. No problem. But that's not what the Red Pill's about. I wouldn't call it the Red Pill. I'd call it Rollo's Army. Rollo's Roughnecks. That's what we'd be. Welcome to the Roughnecks. Rollo's Roughnecks. It's not a movement. Manosphere is not a movement. Red Pill's not a movement. It's intersexual dynamics. It is a praxeology. How many different ways do I have to say that? Apparently a few more. Oh, you're a bot? Nice of you to admit it. Okay. Long live the patriarchy. You know what? The patriarchy as a form of organizing society is a balanced, responsible way of doing it. And by the way, the reason why patriarchy was the most natural outflowing, I guess, of organizing society is because it's the most obvious when you look at sexual dimorphism and you look at the division of labor. That's why. Women are the vulnerable sex, men are the disposable sex, or the sacrificial sex, I should say. And the best way of organizing society, when those are the realities about the organism, about the mechanics of the machine, the best way to organize that is to put men into a position of responsibility and authority. That is patriarchy. That's why it's the most natural way of doing things. And that's why you want to know where all these trad cons like, I can't believe we fucked up society. Yeah, you know why? Because we don't want to give men any authority. They're pigs, right? According to Ben Shapiro, they're all schmucks. I'm using that word on purposely. I know my Yiddish. I should tell you about my Jewish brothers. Just doing a drive-by. Of course you are. And just wanting to give some support. Thank you for the good work. Oh, shh. Keep it down. You don't want to let Smith actually hear that. He might actually think that somebody likes me. I might get a big head as a result. I appreciate you, bro. Anybody else? I think I have got to everybody. Didn't I do drive-by? Oh, Ben Shapiro on Access Vegas coming soon. Probably not. Hey, you know what? Doors open. Ben, if you're watching, doors open. I will have you. I will host you in Vegas. Shit, for Ben Shapiro, I will fly your happy ass out here. First class. I'll book the studio. I'll have you on. Come on out. Let's talk. I won't bite. I won't alienate half your audience. I won't be mean. It's like you were. He was actually worried that Matt Walsh was too mean for talking bad about the trans chickie guy. The man, baby. Hold on. I gotta look. Let me look up my. Got that. Rolo, I'm curious, what are your convictions personally and what should be convictions of men in general? I would never tell you what you should and shouldn't do. Trust me on that one. What are my convictions? Well, about what? Politics? Sorry, I'm looking at the thing right here. I got to bring it down a little bit so I can actually look at the camera while I'm looking at the chat. I have it above it right now. So let's see. I remember the time Kevin Samuels used Rolo's term alpha widows and he knew he ripped off the rational male. I will say this though, when Kevin did that, he also said, well, go follow Rolo. Like at least Kevin acknowledged it was from me. So that's why I kind of liked Kevin. He did actually give credit where it was due. Sometimes he would just flow into something I'd said before and then somebody would hit him and say, hey, that's Rolo said that. And they'd be like, okay. He would stop in the middle of it. Let's see. Yo, Rolo, you cock, Ben, and Brat Koopa. Cock, Ben, and Brat Koopa. Brat Cooper. Brett Cooper is her name. Thank you very much. Do you think she's part of the tribe? Do you think she's part of Ben Shapiro's tribe? I wonder. Are they allowed to be? Is the tribe like girls? Are they allowed to be influencers? Maybe they are. Sarah Silverman is, right? I think. Pretty sure. Oh, thank you for that. I got some new brain chemistry MRIs from my good friend. Is that from Rugby? I got from Rugby. Sorry, everybody's throwing stuff at me at the end here. I'm done here. You guys can throw out. So if you have questions, that's fine. What are my convictions? I guess it kind of just depends on what we're talking about. Black Sigma, people always say, "Well, Rolo, who did you vote for? What do you think? Well, how should we show us how to live, Rolo? You do not want me to show you how to live. I'm the last person you want me to show you. Go talk to Justin Waller. He'll tell you how to live. In fact, he'd be right to do it too, to an extent. But he'd be right to tell you more so than me. Convictions about what? Like politics, religion, who you should marry, who you shouldn't marry, should you marry? I will tell you what my convictions are about greyhounds. Got a lot of convictions about that. Right? Thank you.
Well,
oh, sorry. You put Ned's name in a super chat, you're going to get this. And the higher, the better. You guys happy for me? Are you guys glad that I did a midweek show for you? I think I am. I wanted to do something. I did my birthday show on Sunday. I felt like I didn't do enough meat. Didn't give you enough meat. Oh, let's see. What do you say? The rational male. She told me once that plenty people speak about her at the female version of Ben. Who? Oh, you mean Brett Cooper? It wouldn't surprise me. Did she come from the Blaze? Because I know the Blaze is hemorrhaging talent right now, and a lot of them are going over to PragerU and Daily Wire, which, by the way, I still think is going to acquire PragerU. Daily Wire will eventually acquire PragerU. They're too small. They'll consume them. They'll bring them on. I mean, they're not going to do anything bad to they'll probably won't change the format. They'll just own them. I mean, what do you believe in that you will die on that hill. Religion? If you want to know what my faith, my personal faith is, go get my 4th book and read the last chapter. It will be easier for me to, like, people go, oh, you're just trying to sell the book. No, it's just easier for me to just, I wrote a very comprehensive chapter, like big, long chapter on that. Why does Rollo believe in God? Why does he have a faith? Why does he go read the book? I would seriously be here for another 4 hours if I had to like explain all that shit to you. So that's conviction number 1. That's easy to get rid of. Politics wise, I am a pragmatist when it comes to politics. Quite honestly, I've lost faith in the whole electoral process in the United States. So I'm probably not the best person to ask. I think that really 2020 really woke me up to the fact that like elections make no difference whatsoever. And Mike Sartain has been a good, Mike Sartain, I don't want to say Mike Sartain is the second coming of like Pat Campbell, but like he teaches me stuff occasionally. And one of the things he taught me is that people don't care. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about jack shit. That's why, by the way, Pearl, if you're watching, nobody cares. Not about you personally, but I mean like the scandals or whatever. Anytime you're in a world of hurt, just remember that O.J. Simpson Thursday night? O.J. Simpson will probably be at a club called Jing in Vegas tonight. He'll be partying with girls who are like blonde, blue eyes, big tits. They look just like Nicole Brown Simpson, and none of them care. And all the guys that are around there looking and shaking their heads, they don't care either. No one cares. No one cares that what Stormy Daniels is in the news again. I can't believe it. Trump has been indicted. No one cares. And if they do now, they won't in about another 4 days. Trust me. Believe me. You may believe me. Believe me on that. Nobody cares. What's this? DigiNomad. What new birthday insights? How was positive Evo Psych? I'm going to do a full... I'm debating on whether I should write a Substack essay about that. My next Substack essay is going to be about friendship. But... the Evo Psych book, the Positive Evo Psych book, I actually got that as a suggestion, not directly, but I got it as a suggestion from Rob Henderson. It's where the reason I picked it up is because in that book, it talks about how happiness is like the way we think of happiness is bullshit. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. It's not a sustainable state. There's a lot of stuff in that book, like, and it's positive. It's written very positively. Like, here, let's find some really good shit. Like, it's reporting positive news, right? Because we want to fixate on the negative side of Evo Psych. I think what would happen, just the quick summary of it, I would say that a lot of people will have a problem with that book because it's positive. Because the positive aspects of it will conflict with people's convictions. It'll conflict with your beliefs, but it'll do it so positive. It'll be in such a positive light that people will go, well, yeah, he's right. But, the Torah, the Bible, the Quran says something different than, or they'll try to find some way to, some wiggle room kind of thing. What is this? Hey, Rollo, when are you going to do a 24-hour live stream? Never. I know that the guys from Sticky Paws did a fundraiser. If I would go on someone else's podcast to do a 24-hour podcast, if it was like for a charity, like a telethon kind of thing, I would do that. I would not do that. I can barely sit here in my own stink as it is. I went to the gym before I came here. See, this is my penance. And I ran with the dog today. You guys don't understand just how much I run with my greyhounds, soon to be greyhounds. Oh, what is this? I only put this on because I saw the word blood angels. Rational male. What's yep. By the way, which chapter you cherished the most? Cherished. I think cherished is kind of a strong term. Blood angels, blood ravens, space wolves, woofs, Imperial fists, ultramarines, or black templars. Blood angels. I played blood angels since like day one. I played Blood Angels since I played Space Hulk back in the late 80s, because that's the chapter that it came with. I love the Blood Angels. I love Sanguinius. I love the background history of the Blood Angels chapter. Blood Ravens, by the way, are like a concoction for the video game. So put that over there. Space Wolves would be a very close second. Okay, you want to know? Oh, here's my convictions. Magnus did nothing wrong. That's a conviction. I'll die on that hill. How's that? That's my religious conviction and my political conviction and my personal conviction. Magnus did nothing wrong. People are like, what the fuck is he talking about? Who the hell's Magnum? Magnum? Isn't that a condom? No. As far as like Imperial, like people want to ask me about like 40K stuff, you should be asking me that on the Masculine Geek streams that I did one on Tuesday, and I did the D&D live D&D show yesterday, which, by the way, if you were following me on this channel, you would see that as the last, I think, community post that I put up. So there you go. Yes, Magnus the Red. I tend to be drawn to like tragic heroes. Like people say, well, Rollo, post 4 pictures of heroes, fictional heroes that would define your personality. Magnus the Red would be one of them. Elric of Elric with Stormbringer. Trying to think of who else, like tragic characters. I guess you could probably put Paul Atreides from Dune in there. Characters that like get fucked for doing the right thing. That I would put them on there. But as far as like Space Marine chapters, I have right now in that closet that's right across from me, I have Blood Angels, mostly Blood Angels. I have like thousands and thousands of points of like probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of points of Blood Angels and just models alone. But that's because I've been playing them for years. Space Wolves, not so much. They're near and dear to my heart because I like the fluff, but I don't have a Space Wolves army. I have what else do I play as far as loyalists are concerned? Blood Angels primarily, but I play 30K too, which is like the Horus Heresy, and I have Blood Angels in that. I have Ultramarines as well. Those are my 2 main Marine factions that are loyalists in my Horus Heresy armies. Which, by the way, it's like almost like playing historical version of 40K, but it's 30K, right? Mostly I have Chaos armies, so I have World Eaters forever. I have World Eaters. But those are post Heresy. They're the red ones, not the white and blue ones. So I got World Eaters that are all already chaosy ones. Angron. I have what else do I got? I have Iron Warriors. For both 30K and 40K. I have Fulgrim. I've got tons of Emperor's Children, both when they're for 40K and actually for 30K, mostly for Horus Heresy. I've got a huge army of Emperor's Children. I like something different. It was purple, right? But I actually love the fluff on them too. I have and then I also have Thousand Sons. But my Thousand Sons are 40K. I don't have any for Horus Heresy. I have Magnus, who's already sort of ascended. But so that would be my Imperial guys. So there you go. Realize my close friend is retroactively cuckolded after your pod class on Rogan Bus. What does it take to red pill him? A slow hand. Don't beat him over the head with it because that would be really bad. Or too dangerous, futile to try to. Oh, thank you. Too dangerous, futile to try with family and close friends. Here's what you do. You use Socratic method. Ask questions. And ask questions that are, because most people like to talk about themselves, right? But ask questions. I would say the same thing. Like if you have children, if you have like a son and you say, oh, I want to red pill my son so he doesn't fall in the same traps I did, I would tell you the same damn thing. You need to be on top of your game with like what's happening like socially, and then ask pointed questions about gender dynamics, and then do what I call leading the witness. Okay. So you ask questions that lead to the conclusion that you want that person to contemplate. And when you do that, it will spark more conversations. I put this in the introduction of every one of my books. Every book I have ever written is meant to be talked about. It's meant to be discussed. It's meant to have a conversation over. That's why I say, if you buy this book, give it to someone else and buy another one, or buy a second copy and give it to someone else so you can have that conversation, like a real printed book. Like give it to him, say, okay, we're going to talk about this. Or if they completely blow you off and they say, fuck you, you're a misogynist, I don't want to have anything to do with you, it's all
misogyny,
then just wait for your moments, pick your battles, ask the right questions, and have the right conversations. It's really all it is. Storytelling, man. You want to affect the hearts and minds of other people, you have to ask them questions, you have to have conversations. That's the only way. How do I deal with family on red pill when my values have changed and a bro who's half informed on too long didn't read videos? Also, do you have a dictionary or a site of proper terminology? I do. In the second book, I put a kind of glossary of terms in there, which is the preventive medicine book. You can also go, I've attempted to do that, Jordan. I've attempted to do those sort of like glossaries. The problem is they always change or they get bastardized. Even the red pill itself gets bastardized. To answer your other question, refer to what I just said. You have to have conversations and you have to ask the right questions. That's really all Manosphere shows are about, is asking questions that people don't have real easy answers for. And so it's this back. You don't do it offensively. You don't do it like, hey, I'm going to prove you wrong. Why does this happen? Just say, hey, Jim and Carol are getting a divorce. Why do you think, well, why is it? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like, why do you think that happened? Why do you think Andrew Tate is such a controversial figure, right? Just start the conversation, ask the right questions, and lead the witness. And I don't care if it's your friends, your family, or whatever else. And you have to remember, first of all, know what you're dealing with. If you're saying to me that they're all half informed on TikTok videos, well, okay. But you could still use those TikTok videos to form a conversation, to have a deeper conversation that will change their mind. So why do you think that is? Like I just told you, all you did was watch Brett Cooper's video on like victims and patriarchy, you would come away with, you would dismiss her. If I was a liberal wokesy, progressive liberal leftist, oh, she's just one of those Christian whack jobs. Move it on. But if I go, you know what she's saying is kind of incorrect. Oh, really? Yeah. Draw them in. Say, yeah, because patriarchy is really about responsibility and it's really much more balanced. What do you mean? Well, think about it this way: gynocentrism, androcentrism, blah, blah, tyranny, slavery, that kind of stuff. Get into that same conversation. If you can come, and you don't have to beat people over the head with it. You just ask questions, like pull little threads, here and there. It doesn't have to be like this big, grand. Well, Rollo, we all just have to tell everybody how it is. Fuck these guys. That's not going to change anybody's mind. If anything, that's going to send people the wrong way. Most people don't have the patience to red pill anybody. That's why I don't call it a verb. I'm going to red pill you. No, you're not. Because if you do that, if you call it a verb, you're fucked. Red pill's not a verb. It's a praxeology. It's a noun. Okay. Rollo, my prediction for 2024, anything that has to do with the Manosphere will be guilty by association, and those who are close to you, and you will be public enemy number one. You think I'm not already public enemy? Well, thank you. I do agree with you a little bit there, Black Sigma, because you'll know, here's this in a smaller scale. This has already happened. When Myron and Fresh started coming up and they were like super popular, you have to remember that Myron and Fresh have only been around for just a little over 2 years right now. The show, as we know it now, has only been around for 2 years. That's a blink of a fucking eye, right? Most people flame out within 18 months. If you look at Jordan Peterson, he lasted maybe 18 months, like a year and 6 months. I go, what are you talking about, Rollo? He's popular now. He's not the same dude now. Like what happened? He shot up to superstardom. He was on hell. There was talk about him replacing Dr. Oz. They were going to he was signed up with CAA, which is a casting agency that would have got him on those shows. You want to know how he got on that Kathy Newman show? All that stuff. You want to know how he got on Pierce Morgan? You want to know how he got on all that stuff? It's because he was a different guy back then. He went from being this college professor who might have made 6 figures, to making $80,000 a month on Patreon. He went from being this, relatively unknown, sort of obscure teacher in Ontario or Toronto? Can't remember. God knows how much they pay their staff. Maybe he's making some good change, but he was not making the kind of money he was when he went on tour with Dave Rubin and was playing to selling out 10,000 seats theaters just to let him just sort of wander around the stage and just sort of pontificate and contemplate. And pay him that kind of money. Fucking A. That's awesome. But 18 months later, he's in some Russian rehab because he's trying to get off of bennies, of benzodiazepines. He comes back. He's not the same dude. 18 months, done. Too much, too young, too fast. So when you look at, like, say, Myron and Fresh, they went from picking me up in a rented Land Rover in January of 2021. By August of 2021, Fresh has bought his first McLaren. That's meteoric skyrocket to superstardom in this business, right? Most people don't last more than 18 months. I've been around for forever because I do what I do, right? I'm not a YouTuber. Would I like to be? Yeah, but I would tell you what, man, Adam Sosnick got this right. I'm a get rich slow guy, not a get rich fast guy. Because getting rich slow will teach you the lessons and have you fall on your face and have you be a much wiser person than to have suddenly get $4.5 million in your bank account, which is exactly what Kevin Samuels had in his bank account when he died. And again, Kevin Samuels was around for quite some time. He was selling men's fragrances. He was doing men's style stuff for a while. Then he hit upon the Manosphere and boom, baby, king of the black Manosphere. Too much, too young, too fast. Hypertension got him, whatever got him. I don't know. But, how long did he last? 18 months, maybe? At least that. I think because I remember when he was sort of coming up. And again, nothing against the guy, but again, too much, too young, too fast. You come into that situation where you're not prepared for that. What is it? Fast money brings slow problems or fast problems. I don't forget how Myron says it. To their credit, they have played themselves very, very well. And I'm happy to say that I'm still, they're still really good friends, right? That's the best thing I think about my relationship with Myron and Fresh is I'd still be their friends, whether they had a shit ton of money or they didn't. Same thing with, I do podcasts of guys who are just come ups right now. What was that kid's name? I can't remember his name. I've been on podcasts and I'll do it if I think I can get, have a good conversation with you. I don't care if you've got 1,000 subs or you got 100,000 subs. I'll go do your show if I think it's going to be a beneficial, good conversation. All right, gentlemen, that's it for me today. I've already actually gone well over what I intended to, but I will be back again on Sunday for Sunday's show. It'll be 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. I got a few ideas. I know I'm going to do. I might even talk about my Substack stuff too, but hopefully you guys have liked this. I will be in Las Vegas on the 13th, which is next Thursday. That we'll be doing Access Vegas. So it's an in and out for me. We're going to go and do some shows. We got the girls coming in. We're going to be a little bit more topical on this one. Mike's got a lot of irons in the fire right now, so he's getting back into doing the bikini contests. I will probably be judging one right around the 28th of April, which will be kind of fun. I will be in Vegas pretty much every week starting next week. So I got to be there the 13th and the 14th. Come back. Then I got to be there from the 19th to the 21st because I have to go back to the fucking DMV in Las Vegas, Nevada, so I can get my Camaro registered again. Still haven't got that taken care of. So I'm going to be there. I'll probably do some content. Austin, if you're watching, I would love to do some content while I'm there. I'm also going to be doing the principal videography for my new classes, which are going to be the Players Workshop classes that I mentioned in the Players Handbook. So those are going to be coming. Those will be forthcoming soon. The first modules for that, I'm hoping to get done by at least the middle part of May, maybe the beginning to mid-May. So like the first modules for the Players Workshop teachable classes will be coming up. I'll let you know more about that as I finish, but the reason why it's taking so long for these is I'm trying to do something special with them because I don't do just, me. I just don't do, I could do it right here. I could very easily have done all the classes right here, just sitting here, but I'm not doing that. I want it to be more like a master class, if you know what master class videos are. So I want it to be nice. I want it to be sort of more conversational. I want it to be more casual, and I don't want it to be in the studio. So I'm doing that. I'm hoping to have all 5 modules done by the end of the year, beginning with the first one, which should come out mid-May. And I'm shooting the week after next. Then I got to be back in Vegas again on the 25th. 26th, we'll be with Gary, the numbers guy, talking about astrology, numerology, woo-woo magical stuff, and whether or not there are actually lizard people at the highest levels of government. Most likely we'll get to that part. But you know what? I will just shout out to Gary Ginsberg, man. You are the first dude who had the balls to come on the show. I salute you, sir. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. I will make your stay as comfortable and as entertaining and as educational as I possibly can. I have nothing but respect for you. And then we'll be doing Access Vegas, which will be on the 27th. Yes, 26th and 27th. We'll also be with Chrissy Mayer, Mayr. Go look her up. She is a conservative. I want to say she's a podcaster influencer, but she's also a stand-up comedian. She will laugh at. She has actually laughed. She says, "I'm one of the 10% of funny girls that you guys thought." She's watched our shows, like with Myron and Fresh. How we always say, "Oh, women aren't funny," right? They don't really have any like comedy talent. She's like, but maybe like 10% of girls, female comedians are funny. Like she's like, "Oh, I'm part of the 10%." So I know she's been watching. I'll be there also with the guys from Nerdrotic. They're doing Friday Night Tights on the April 28th. I'm going to probably get X-Ray Girl, who is the producer for Nerdrotic, on Access Vegas on Thursday. We're talking. She's got my number. I love her to death. She's another 40K fan. See, it takes you places, man. She loves 40K. She loves Warhammer kind of stuff that I do. She's got the same kind of nerds as I do as well. What do you say here? Do you think Peterson's association with Christianity, his series on the Bible, is a snow job to warm him to the Daily Wire's religious viewers? I would say there's a lot more to it than just that. I think he just does that because he knows that people want to associate their religion with the stuff that he talks about. And so it's not just Daily Wire, but I think just overall he does that. Did I get to you? Oh, the Lex Friedman thing. On a recent Lex Friedman, Dr. Shannon Curry said loyalty is more important than honesty. I disagree. I heartily disagree. I think that honesty put it this way, the truth will set you free, but it doesn't mean that it won't hurt. It doesn't mean that it's not supposed to hurt. So I disagree. You can be a loyal liar. I'd rather have an honest person who's disloyal than it's like, would you rather be happy or would you rather be right? Nerdrotic, are you serious? I am doing my best to get on Friday Night Tights, myself and Michael Sartain. I think we might, at least at the very least, get a cameo on that in Vegas. So we will be doing Nerdrotic / Friday Night Tights, because that's X-Ray Girl's coming into town for that. I'm going to have her on our show. I'm going to see if I can do some content with her while she's here. And then Chrissy Mayer is also part of Friday Night Tights, which is a show that is on Nerdrotic. They do on Fridays. And they're doing a live version of it at Sticky Paws, of all places. They have rented out Sticky Paws from noon to 6 on Friday. So they're serious about this. So I'm going to do that. I will probably do a content or interview of some sort with Chrissy Mayer as time permits. Mike and I will also be doing a bikini contest on the 28th from 11:30 in the morning to about 3. And from there, we race back to the studio to go and do Friday Night Tights if they're wanting to have us on. So still working out the logistics on that. I can't say yes, I can't say no, but I would like to very much do that. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. Yeah, and I'm a geek too. I'm a nerd. I love 40K. I do Masculine Geek. God, why does everybody think that this is some sort of revelation? I've been doing it for like years now. Anyways, so that's what I have going on. Then, as if that's not enough, May 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I will be back in Vegas because I'm going to the White Label Expo that's going to be there, but also primarily on the 4th, not Cinco de Mayo, but the Cuatro de Mayo. I'm going to go see Death Angel, my good friends, Ted, really. I think they're playing Vamped in Vegas, so I'm going to be out there for the Death Angel show, which I will go. Like, they've been friends, and I love them to death, so I will probably go out there and watch Death Angel because they're not coming to Reno, but they are in Vegas, which is fine, close enough. So I'll be down for that. I have an extra ticket too. So if you're a Death Angel fan or you're a thrash metal fan, let me know, because I will probably not be able to get any of these girls to go. It's going to definitely be a guy's show. So I will go see. And I have meet and greet. I got backstage. So I'll probably I'll probably be there a little bit early on the 4th, but I do have an extra ticket. So that's coming up. And then I will be in Miami for the Bitcoin conference on the 18th through the 20th, but I will be there on the 15th all the way to the 21st. That'll be my week in Miami. I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to go book Captain Nelson once again, get my best friends on a fishing boat. You can get 6 people on the boat. So that's me plus 5 other people. So I'm going to see, last time I got Sterling Cooper, and I got Justin Waller, and I got Tom, and I got, what's her name? Samantha was on with us too. She's one of Justin's friends. And then, so this year I'm going to see if I can get Mike on, myself. If I can get like Ken McElroy or some of these other guys, like if you like to fish, hit me up, because I'm definitely going to have like some slots open, but I'll let you know what's open. But I usually do a full day of like deep sea fishing. It's May, so it's possible we might get Dorado. I picked up, we got king mackerel last time. Got barracuda. If you ever see the picture of me with a big giant like dinosaur looking barracuda, that was from last year's trip. I do at least one. I like to do 2, but like I do one in the spring, and then if I can do one in the summer, I'll do one in the summer. But this will be the spring trip out of Miami. It's a good time. Everybody likes to go, so it's like suddenly it's like Rollo's annual fishing trip. So that'll be in May. I'll be out there with Miguel. If I can get Miguel on a boat, maybe he'll go too. But be myself, Miguel, Charlie, Mike Sartain. We're also doing a Babes in Toyland benefit out there at the same time. We're going to be hitting all of these events from the 15th to the 21st of May. If you happen to be in Miami, or if you want to make plans now's the time to do it. We will be doing a podcast tour. We'll definitely be on Fresh and Fit a few times. We're going to see Justin Waller. Maybe we'll go on Valuetainment. Certainly Mike will. Maybe not me. I'm persona non grata, but we'll be making the rounds. Maybe I'll go see Iron Disciples. There's a few other podcasts out there that I'll probably go see. And I am definitely going to set aside at least half a day or a full day to go get a photo shoot with Mike Tang. So got to go get my shots. So that's coming up. April and May is very busy. So if I seem like I am like stressed, that's why. I'll gladly take it off your hands. Vegas native and metal fan right here. Okay, well, Chalk T, tell you what, hit me up right about the beginning of May. Hit me up on May Day. All right, guys, that's it for me today. Thanks for watching. Hope this has been educational, entertaining, and fun for you today. I don't usually do Thursdays, but here we go. So we have it. And then we're going to go out with my good friend, Giovanni Sanders. You can get this on Spotify. In the description, go get it.
Would you do it again? I need to feel you on top of me. It was my first time, but I was just a kid when we met and went to bed. It was my first time. What do you expect from me? I'm breaking up the rules now in the game. I've got some new tools. Please do the same. Time came by to win. Over like a matchbox stereo. Time to get my thoughts now, let go. Bound to keep me up all night. But maybe we can fuck again, and maybe things are different. Baby, one more again. Won't you put it on me? Now we're fucking in the bathroom, tearing up everywhere while I got your hair. Why you screaming my name? She was swinging in the bedroom, whole time stopping and stopping with her head like she's calling you Kelly. So baby, run me up and down like a pony, turning up my song, getting messy, working up and down on your body. Run me up and down like a pony, turning up my song on your body. Baby, we'll get down to it all night, but maybe we can fuck again, and maybe things be different. Goddamn, baby, one more again, won't you put it on me one more again? 'Cause I need to know if maybe we can fuck again, then maybe things be different. Goddamn, baby, one more again.
Preceding podcast has been a production of The Rational Male. All rights reserved. 2023. Registered trademark. Internationally. Don't steal my stuff.